Hey, what's going on, gang? Good afternoon. Greetings, salutations, all that. We're back live today. Hello. What's up? My name is Alan Cox. Thanks for being here. If you are. If you're not, well, just talk trash about you. Say hi to Bill Squire. He's right over there.
Hey, creepy hugs, everyone.
Mary Santora is here as well.
What up?
Poundcake's back in Studio G.
Afternoon, white people. Hello.
Oh, it was a long holiday weekend.
Oh, was it?
Oh, yeah?
It was so good.
In a bad way?
No, in the best way ever.
Are you hungover still?
No, I'm not hungover because I know when to stop. But
Yep.
He's on a high.
Yeah, Poundcake saw what's up.
Oh, you did? You guys were hanging out?
No. I ran into him before the show and I showed him a little something.
He's still blushing. Look at him.
It's tan.
What did he show you?
Oh,
You
no.
can tell her. You can tell him.
Her?
Him.
A guy?
Sorry.
He had new figurines on top of his pool table overlooking the lake.
Wait, what?
They're
That's
really
a nice
cool.
way of putting it.
Yeah, really cool figurines.
There's a photo shoot on my pool table.
What do you mean figurines?
They weren't figurines. They're human beings.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You had girls naked on your pool table?
Yes.
Ah, I see. Okay. And you figured you'd show those pictures to the gay guy.
Well, I showed him when they're not naked,
Uh-huh.
and it's just their butts. So you can't identify anybody unless you know all the butts really well. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of backlit so you can see the lake.
Which one is Mary's?
Yeah, right.
Nope.
Nah, 0% chance.
This was yes.
Mary doesn't
this was
like
last
pool that
night?
way. That was during the day. Went on the funny bus with a group that was dubbed Bill's Angels.
Who was hosting the funny bus on your run there?
Sternick.
Ah,
Brian
Brian
Sternick,
Sternick.
yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
They're all great. But
Yeah. So we did that, and then we met to my house, and we swam, and then swimming and
Now, how
drinking.
big of a group is this?
There was 4 of us total. 3
Gotcha.
girls and me.
Oh, just you and 3 chicks?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Bill's Angels. Yeah.
You
Was
met
it
them on the
like-
bus?
What?
Go ahead. Did you meet
No,
them?
I didn't meet them on the bus. I brought them with me.
You brought so you had
This
3
was a-
girls. You
yeah,
go,
yeah.
hey, we're going on the Cleveland Funny Bus.
Mhm.
You and 3 girls,
Yeah.
and then
We
back
had
to
one-
the apartment.
We had 1 cancellation, and then I was able to.
Oh, it was gonna be
make
4 girls.
Yeah. Well, it was going to. Well, there was a cancellation, so I found somebody to replace that person because I didn't want to waste a ticket.
Now, where were the Angels from?
All over Cleveland. I mean,
Well,
one's from
I don't mean
Lakewood.
where did they grow up. I mean, how do you know them? Like, who are these in your
Just pals.
pals?
People that I've gotten
okay.
to know over the years.
Yeah,
from
people you're trying to
different
bang.
things. Not trying.
Are banging. How many of the 3? Are you banging all 3 of them?
No, just 1.
Okay.
But there was a lot of participation. We'll say.
But you figured, well, with 3, I can't go wrong.
Right.
Somebody's going to get down on this.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so
Mary's
it's not like you
face
had
right
to.
now.
What's that?
I'm not. All 3 came back and participated?
Yeah.
My goodness, Bill.
So Bill,
I
so-
did it for
so-
Labor Day. This is what the Teamsters were fighting for.
Hard
This is
labor.
Hard labor.
Were they? So you didn't have to coax them for the naked
No,
pool table.
they were going like
Ready and
that.
willing.
Yeah, they were
Yep.
ready to go.
There you go.
I was just like, oh, okay. I guess it's good I didn't get this thing refelted.
Right. Okay. So that was the big Labor Day celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was yeah.
Now, did everybody stay over?
Not the night because that was like in the.
This was Afternoon Delight.
This is Afternoon Delight.
Afternoon
and then,
Delight.
I think one of them left around 7 or 8, and the other 2 left around midnight.
Mm-hmm. You got an Uber waiting for you downstairs. You had to kick them out.
I was just like, I'm going to bed. You guys do whatever you want.
Right.
You do whatever you want. And they wanted to go out and keep going. So I was like, go out, have fun.
That's so
I
much.
can't.
They're ready
do
to
it.
rock.
Yeah.
So they could have potentially had a naked photo shoot on somebody else's pool table by the end of the night.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
You should find that person and compare notes.
From what I understood, they ended up at a hotel. So I don't know.
Just the 2 of them?
2
3 of them.
No, because one left, peeled off, and went home to her own place.
Oh, I see.
And then 2 of them went and continued the night. And one of them called me this morning from a hotel. So they
And
had
said,
their-
pick me up, or
No, she was just telling me what, like, just kind of checking in.
wait a second.
I was gonna pick her
Why
up.
why did she call you from the hotel? She doesn't need to check in with you. Why did she call you?
Well,
What
she
did she
said-
say when she called?
She said she accidentally FaceTimed me, and I just FaceTimed her back, and I was like, everything good? And she's like, yeah, I ended up at this hotel. I'm heading home now. And I was like, okay. So.
Must be good to be a hot girl. You just end up.
Well, are they hot?
I feel like someone quantum leaped into my body and is living my life for me now because this stuff does. I mean, like, I've had some stuff happen, but like
I feel like
it's like recently has been out of this world. I can't even believe it.
But are they hot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're hot. I'll show you.
No, I'm fine. I'm totally.
I'm not
fine.
going to show you
yeah.
naked pictures. I'll show you their faces.
I'm totally fine. It's not going to change my life either way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about the call from the hotel. How did she end up at a hotel?
I don't know. I didn't get done.
Because you gotta. Well, she already had the room, probably, right?
Probably
not.
not.
Not that I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She walked up, goes, "Hey, let me get a room for the like it's the '60s. Hey, can I get a room for the night?" I mean,
well, that's the thing. Like once they left, they were on their own to go do whatever they wanted. So
Yeah.
that's what happened with her. So I'm not. I don't know exactly.
And she butt dialed you.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Would you have gone to pick her up had she been in a bad way?
I mean, if she was like in a real
like
troublesome situation.
Yeah, like tied to a radiator.
Yeah, of course. But I'm not but she was just like, no, I'm just going home. I called you by accident. I was like, okay, go home. Have a good day. Get some sleep.
Mary, did you have anything like that happen to you over the holiday week?
At your family cabin?
I think I had the exact opposite of that happen, where I went and stayed in a cabin with my family for 4 days, and it was nothing. It was a really, really tough weekend.
Oh, the whole Santora clan?
It was a very difficult weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything worth recounting after the break?
Sure, yeah.
Was this the extended Santora clan?
Yeah, well, it was like
out at Hocking Hills, or where was
Yeah,
this?
we were down in Hocking Hills. It was me, Brian Blake, my younger sister's family, and my 20...
Oh, Brian, Blake. Okay.
Yes, my 28-hour workday brother's family.
From Kentucky.
That's not the Kentucky one. The MAGA brother is the Kentucky one. 28-hour workday actually lives in Lancaster, Ohio, which is like a half hour from Hocking Hills.
I see.
So they just drove down for the day. But yeah, we had a...
But he's a MAGA brother too, right?
He's not as bad.
Yeah, but he is.
But he is, yeah.
Gotcha.
But he's more just that's the one you butt
He and
heads
I butt
with
heads
the most.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see.
He and I, if there's a fight happening, it's usually between he and I.
And so there were fights happening.
Not really fights.
Oh, I'm excited to get into this.
There were no naked figurines on any pool tables. I can say
well, that's
that.
okay too. That's all right. All right. Well, then I'll take a break and we'll dig into that on the way back. Anything you want to text to start the show today, 35192 to do that. AlanCoxShow.com is where you can watch, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app.
Or whatever Employees only. Listen on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Fun fact, celebrity deaths, like testicles, sometimes come in threes. The Alan Cox Show
On 100.7
WMMS.
Yeah, 3 singers died over the weekend. We'll get on that in a little bit. Hey, Guardians are at home tonight. Did pretty well against the Rays. Although, last night, not so good. 20-6.
Woo!
I guess the Guardians were just watching last night. That was the final here at home. That was the first of 3. The middle game is tonight. 6:10 is your first pitch here on MMS, so we will dip out a couple of minutes early. 6:10, Twins, Guardians on your FM home for, of course, Cleveland Guardians baseball. And I don't think that I've got a CLE clothing company code for September. We burned out the one in August. I have heard no update on if there's a code for September. So we'll be in limbo on that. For those of you probably should have gotten that to me last week. Or the big Labor Day shopping weekend, but that didn't happen. So that must mean that they're doing very, very well over there, which I know they are. But yeah, Guardians, Twins tonight, 6:10 on the Buzzard. So Mary spent the weekend in a cabin in Hocking Hills with her extended family.
Yes.
And I'm sure it was all sweetness and light.
Oh, God.
I'm sure
just the
that
best.
nobody... family is a weird thing. For any person, family is a weird thing. And so my initial response is, I don't know why you guys keep doing this to yourself, but it is your family. And you're not going to isolate yourself from these people
Right.
just because there's a chance that you will start an argument.
It's not me.
And you said, by your own admission, you said that usually it's something that you start.
No,
Because somebody else will say something and you can't let it go.
I'm the
About
only
what?
one who says anything about anything. So this
That's
weekend...
the same thing as starting an argument.
Okay, fine, whatever.
I mean, in your situation, you know that. You know when you pipe up, it's going to turn into something.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not telling you to stay quiet. I love getting in all people's mess, but so it was you and not all of your extended family,
No,
but enough so
one
that
of my
there'd be a
sister,
little
one of my
friction.
brothers, and so there's music coming from somewhere.
Yeah, Alan's playing it to
Oh.
set the mood for the story.
There's
You've been on the
music
show for
coming
5
from
years.
somewhere.
Did you see me freak out? I pulled my headphones off. I was looking at my phone and something. Anyway,
Well, where's all that music
What
I'm
is this
hearing?
background
I
music?
don't,
Sometimes you can't even hear us talk, and they're just telling us about products. What's going on?
so anyway,
Yes.
we went down for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday was just me, Brian, and Blake at the cabin, and it was great. We had a great time Friday. Had some dinner, just kind of drove down after she got out of school. No issues Friday. Saturday is when my whole family showed up. So my sister, her 2 kids, my mom, my brother, his 2 kids, his wife, right? So we're all down there, and this was, I should say, the most difficult weekend we've had with Brian's daughter since I've lived there a year and a
Okay.
half. And it was just like top to bottom, she wanted to fight us about everything. Like, it didn't matter what it was. Every single thing that was suggested was a fight with this kid.
But it's not like, I mean, she's been around your family before, so it's not that.
No, yeah, it's not that. I think, kids just have off weekends,
Yeah,
right?
sure. I get it.
And there's a lot going on. There's a
Yep.
lot of personalities.
Just back to school.
Just back to school.
Yeah.
No one is on their regular sleeping schedule, eating schedule. It's hot. We're hiking. We're going to lake. Like, there's a lot going on. I totally get that.
It's a hotbed of possible explosions.
Right.
For children and adults alike.
100%. So Blake is 7. My
Bill,
niece...
you hear that music? Where's
Is
that
that-
coming
is
from?
that-
What the hell is that?
So Blake is 7. My
See if I
niece
can do something
Riley
about that.
is 11, and they are the exact same person, which means that when those 2 get together, it is either going to be cherries and rainbows and everybody's happy and they're best friends, or they are yelling at each other 100% of the time. So this weekend, we happen to get a 100% of the time yelling at each other weekend.
Gotcha.
So come Saturday was fights. It was just fights, just aggravation and fights between the kids all day Saturday. Sunday comes, we're getting ready to go on a hike, and again, Blake's fighting with everybody, and we're like causing problems, and I'm trying to like do what Brian and I discussed as far as like parenting techniques and how to handle her when she has, an attitude or
Little
lies
meltdown
or
or-
whatever,
yeah.
right? So the problem with my family is that everyone has my brothers and sisters, everyone has very strong opinions that they are not afraid to voice, and
On how to parent.
on anything, but in this case specifically on how to parent. So my brother, sister, and mom are all trying to intervene every time something is happening between me, Brian, and Blake.
Ugh.
So they're all throwing in different.
Poundcake.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
It's literally, that's the most annoying thing when you're out in public trying to parent your kid, and that's like someone in the grocery line like, oh, it's just a kid. Why are you going to, like, don't tell me how to parent my kid.
Yeah, stay out
Parent
of
your
it.
own damn kid.
So that was basically
Wait,
what happened.
Kid are you parenting?
He's just
Yeah,
commenting.
what are you talking about?
Would you get mad? Were you like, let my mom yell at me?
I would be like, I don't know you, sir. Like, this is between A,
He's
B, and C
imagining being
conversation.
in the self-checkout with Gordy and Lupa and how that would...
Well, I am a new uncle, so I can imagine me being out in public, learning stuff for the first time, and I got instructions from his father, which is my brother, and if I'm babysitting, don't tell me what to do. Like, you don't know what this kid is about. I know what this kid is about.
My brother told me that I could punch him in the face,
Yeah.
ma'am, all right? Just leave me alone.
I have a rule. If
Thank
I
you.
can't whip them, I can't
watch
watch
'em.
them.
And his dad understands that. It's my...
Don't you listen, ma'am, to the show?
The show that I don't listen to. when
Anyway,
I'm
back
on.
to Mary.
It's okay. So Saturday, with all the fighting, all three, brother, sister, mom, are butting in, and they're trying to talk to me. You should do this. Hey, stop doing that. Don't be so hard on this. Let this go. Do that. So and it's mostly directed at me, but like there was one big fight. Blake wanted to ride in the car with my sister and my nieces, but there was no room in the car, right? I said, hey, you can't go in that car. There's no room. And she was like, but I want to start fighting with me. I'm like, dude, and it's hard sometimes, I feel like, to explain a very logical situation to a child where I'm like, there is no room. Look in the car. There's nowhere for you to sit, but she wasn't having any of it.
Doesn't have a
So-
fully formed brain.
I get that.
A 7-year-old brain.
So me and her get into my car, and I looked at her and I was like, dude, I get it. It's hot. There's a lot going on, but you have to listen to me. I was like, you can't keep fighting with me and Dad on everything we talked to you about this weekend. And she was sitting there pouting. She's mad. She's not in the car with her cousins. And then I looked at her. I said, are you ready to listen to me the rest of this weekend? And she looked right in my face and said, no. And I was like, oh, I was like, I put the car in park, shut off. I said, get your ass out of the car right now. We're not going to the lake. And she blew up. She was really upset, obviously. But I was like, you're not going to tell me, no, I'm not going to listen to you straight to my face. You're not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I took her inside.
Say, well, will you try to listen to me?
No, I didn't
Really,
have the
no,
patience at
no
this
middle
point.
ground there? Okay.
Well, I took her inside because Brian was still inside. I took her inside. I told Brian what happened. I said, you need to figure this out. I'm going to go take a half hour, go get ice in the cooler at Kroger, and I'll be back in 30 minutes when I cool down, remove myself from the situation, and you guys can kind of figure out whatever's going on here. You know, and that's something that Brian and I have discussed, where we say, hey, if one of us is starting to get overwhelmed,
Yep.
you take a break, you go for a walk, you go on a drive, you do something to remove, even just go out of the room. And then I didn't know this, but apparently after I left, my mom went back into the cabin and was like trying to talk to Brian and Blake. Well, Brian is like, I'm with my daughter doing what Mary and I discussed. Like, you know what I mean? So this was happening pretty much all day
Why is
Saturday.
your mom trying to be parent of the year?
They all are.
That's
My
why.
mom, my sister, my brother, everybody was trying to like fix what we were doing, and it was
it work?
incredibly frustrating. Yeah, it actually was perfect. That's the end of the story.
Well, there was new music, so I figured.
The new music came from my brain.
It's the
actually.
calming music.
Yeah.
That's
When you
right.
do that, you undermine like the parental figure. Like,
That's what I tried to tell them. So by the time
And if
Sunday
anybody
came
knows
around,
about undermining a parental figure, it's Poundcake.
because I had a bunch
Been
of
doing it his whole life. Did it to his
Mm-hmm.
mom. Did it to every
because everyone would
authority
jump in.
figure
Step
ever.
of the way.
That's why I love him.
Whenever I wanted to be mean, they would give me treats, and then I never learned.
so
Like a puppy.
by the time Sunday came around, and like a very, very minor fight between Blake and I about doing her hair. That was it. My sister said something. My brother said something, and I freaking snapped. We sent the kids downstairs, and I sat my family down for an intervention where I was like, listen, I understand. I have only been in a parental role for a year and a half, and only on weekends at that. I get it. I'm new, okay? You guys have to butt out. Like, you have to. You
Gotta
have to stop.
You got to let me learn.
Essentially, and that's what I was saying. And they're all like, oh, but we love you and you don't listen and you're so bullheaded and you're this and you're that. We're just trying to help.
We love you.
We love you, but you're so stubborn.
That's exactly what it is.
But Mary, don't you understand how stupid you are?
Right, that's exactly
Don't you
what it
understand
felt
that
like.
you're an idiot? You're not doing anything right.
Why
And
don't
we're
you
just trying
listen to
tell you-
what we say?
All our well-behaved kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like crying and I'm really upset because it's already a frustrating weekend. So now to have to deal with all of you too, I was like, we have a very overbearing family. And I was trying to be as calm as I could. And
Do
I said,
your siblings have really amazingly well-behaved children?
my brother does, but because he is
Really strict, right. So
like,
he's like spare the rod, spoil the child.
100%.
Gotcha.
They do not fuss, whine, talk back. Like they don't.
They're terrified.
They, yeah, essentially.
Right. That's how we
And
grew
that
up.
will never manifest in a way when
That
they get
requires
older.
therapy.
Yeah.
So I'm having this discussion. Brian's sitting with, so in the kids are all downstairs. There was like a air hockey table and video games. So they're all downstairs entertaining themselves. And the parent, me and my brother, sister, my mom, Brian, we're all sitting upstairs. And I'm explaining to them, like, you guys have to back off. I understand it's coming from a place of love. I take it very personally. It feels condescending. It feels like you don't believe any of the things that we talk about are important. And Brian was sitting there quiet the whole time. And I felt attacked. Again, I took it very personally, but they're all like, you don't know what you're doing. We've all been parents longer than you have. We're just trying to help. And I had to explain, I get it, but I don't need your help. I need Brian's help.
Right.
So when Brian and I...
He's the parent.
Right. I say when he and I discuss something and that's what we put into place, we don't need input from any of you. And I didn't feel bad that I did this, but I looked at Brian because it had been like a half hour of me talking to them and he didn't say a word. And I looked at him and I was like, am I alone here? Like, are you going to back me up at any point? Are
He's
you
like,
going to say
"Co-sign."
anything? Like,
Yeah, that's right.
So, but he...
Let her go. She's on a roll.
So he came in and he put
He's
up...
like, I was waiting for my intro, my music.
Yeah, where's my intro music? But he put up a very firm boundary where he was like, Mary, you do take things extremely personally. He is like, I don't think that they're saying that you're a bad parent. And he's like, and you and I have discussed how you're just new to this. It's just a different role for you. So he's like, I don't
And then
think...
you go, oh, you're siding with them?
This is what it is!
Do you
No.
guys understand that I'm the Mary Santora?
But then he said straight up, like he was like, with that being said, I would appreciate if you guys butted out. Like, we don't need your help as much as you guys are trying to offer it. Like, and he even told my mom, he even brought it up. He was like yesterday when Blake and I were discussing what we were discussing and you came in, he's like, I didn't need that from you. I didn't need you to come in here and try to fix a situation between my daughter and I. And he was very calm.
Ooh, that's so hot.
Dude, it was so hot. It
stood up
was
to
so
your
hot. Like,
Yeah, it sounds
I'm
way
looking
hotter
at him,
than what I did. It
I
was
was
so
like-
hot. Ooh,
I'm like, take me out of here, Brian. Carry me away.
Seriously, I
Take
looked
me
at him, and,
down.
but because he was doing it in a very kind and loving way, where he was like, "I appreciate you. I know we're gonna be, in this family unit for a long time, so I know you guys care, but." Stay out of it, essentially. And I was like,
Bitch.
look at you setting boundaries, So we had that whole long discussion, and they were like, it was amazing to me how receptive they were. My sister even was, both my sister
When
and
she
my
screamed at
brother.
him
I didn't
for 30
scream.
It
I
was
I
Brian,
cried at them.
30 minutes.
I cried at them.
Once I cried at them for 30 minutes, they really seemed to get on board.
Like we were, and both my brother and my sister were like, we get it. And I can respect that. And I said, if you want to help, do it in a different way. Instead of saying, hey, you shouldn't talk to her that way. Or, hey, you need to do this. Say, hey, you know what worked when Caitlin was 7? This, and that. Or sometimes when Riley does this, I handle it this way. I said, if you can approach it in a way that isn't so demanding and, again, condescending is probably on me for feeling that way, but it is very like, you shouldn't do this. You should do that. It felt like being told what to do. And I'm like, well, you don't even know, And then at one point, my mom, during this discussion, my mom goes, I feel like you're too hard on Blake and she needs rescuing from you. And Brian stepped in and he was like, rescuing? Like, what?
Rescuing.
Are you and Brian was like, well, Carol, let me ask you this. He was like, do you feel like when I'm having a discussion or punishing or reprimanding Blake that she needs rescuing from me? And she was like, no, not at all. You're her father. And he goes, right. So if I trust Mary and her and I are on the same page, and I trust her enough to be alone with Blake, why don't you? And my mom kind of just sat there and I was like, look at my man. I'm about to propose.
But that's
what
also
are you doing?
that probably comes from a place where your mom knew that your dad had a new lady in his life and didn't like the idea of her ever being your mom.
Yeah, I mean,
So there's probably some part that's tied into that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was more just I am, and Brian and I have even talked
And you're a
about
bad
this.
mom. Yeah,
I'm a bad mom. No,
yeah.
I'm just more stern. I am much more stern than he is. He's gonna give a ton of patience and a ton of tries and a lot of love and a lot of grace. And sometimes I'm like, this is too much. Like, you gotta stop.
Well,
like, just
also-
knock it off
also-
right now. Go to your room. I'm not talking
The
to you anymore.
step parent
you know?
kind of overcompensates in a way that's like, you're not getting one over on me, kid.
Well, yeah, that too.
So yeah, you kind of lean
know?
into it.
So it was. That was the big.
Reach some détente with the family.
I mean,
Essentially, yeah.
I've been a step parent for almost 20 years. I figured it out in the first couple weeks, so I don't get why it's taking me so long.
The first couple weeks. Well, and that's what I tried to explain.
And there was 3 of them, Mary, so I don't know what your problem
You only
is.
have one
Yeah.
half the time. Well, and I was trying to explain.
I get texts, like, I got a text yesterday. I'm like, oh my God.
I was trying to explain it to my family where I was like, we are in completely different situations. I said, you guys have been in a parental role 100% of the time from the moment you or your spouse got pregnant. You have had all of the say. I was like, I've been dropped into a situation that I chose.
With the inherited mental illness that we're all used to.
Right. Yeah. You guys get to coach the mental illness from the beginning.
Yeah, we know.
No, but like I came into a situation when she was 4, where behaviors and parenting styles were already established, and I didn't have any of my own yet. I said, so you, my brother, sister, and mom, I said, you guys really don't know anything about this situation. You can give generic tips on how you parented your kids, but again, to try to apply a blanket statement like, you can't do this.
Yeah, every
you
kid's
shouldn't
different.
do that.
Every kid's different. Yep.
But yeah, so Brian was like, he was a friggin' saint this weekend, man. He handled
Should canonize this guy.
He handled all of Blake's, like, again, we had a difficult weekend with her. He handled it without and I probably didn't blow up or freak out because my family was there, but and then he like stood up to my family and set boundaries, and I was like, my goodness.
I grew up in such a conflict-free environment. That whole story just makes me pucker.
Yeah.
That weekend would be
oh my God.
Conflict-free? How did you have a conflict-free
Because we were terrified of my parents.
Oh,
And my
see.
parents weren't yellers. So
But
by
they were just
extension,
scary.
like
Yeah.
I'm not, no, well, not even that. They just, this is what it is and like it or lump it. But I mean, we grew up in a very Catholic house.
We would scream over each other.
Oh,
We're squaring
same.
up.
Hell. No, but again, you had a single mom. She was hanging on by her fingernails. Like
We're
that's a
throwing
whole,
stuff.
whole
Yeah.
different thing, right?
cussing at each other.
But as a result, like by extension, we don't have a loud house now.
You never threatened your...
And so it's like, man, no, because
Wait,
I got
wait, you never threatened your what?
he was going to say mom.
No,
Kids?
no, not mom.
Siblings.
The siblings, because I...
threaten them with what?
Anything.
I threatened my
No.
brother.
You
He's
tell on
threatened
me,
me.
I'll break your leg.
He's like,
No.
wait, he's like, you talking all this stuff now that mom's awake, wait till she go to sleep. Because she got to sleep. She got to
Yeah.
work.
No.
And she's going to be gone at work. He's like, I'm going to get
No, because
you.
my mom
And I'm
didn't
like,
work. My dad worked.
Yeah, no.
So my mom was home. Like, what were we going to, my
Yeah.
brother and I, my middle brother and I are Irish twins. We're 15 months apart. So everybody thought we were twins anyway. And no, it just wasn't like
We
that.
wouldn't.
So now, like in our house where it's just me and Gwen and Nora, like if things get loud, Nora kind of gets like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
Like just
What is
generically
happening?
loud.
Yeah.
Right. It's just not like that. So it's like listening to a story like that, which by the way, is that's a completely
Not uncommon at all.
a common story of interactions between people, but it just makes me pucker
Let's go along
when
to
I
get
hear
along.
Well, and Brian had,
No, I
Brian-
think that's not even go along to get along. I think that's a conversation that had to be had.
It had to be had.
Yeah.
Because it's not the first time I felt like this. Like anytime we get into a situation and I told them, I was like, I get it that I'm new. I totally understand that. And I get it that I'm having a hard time. And especially if she's acting up because I am more stern than Brian is. There are times where I'm just like, and that's because of the way that I was raised. We got the crap beat out of us. And I'm not saying that that's okay, but there are times
But
in
you are
my
saying
brain.
you wish you could hit the kid.
No,
more.
not at all. But I'm
Okay.
saying there's times in my brain where Brian is giving her 5, 6, 7 opportunities and like speaking with her and talking to her. And I'm like, just tell her she doesn't make the rules and put her in her room.
Trying to
Like,
reason with her. Kind
Yeah, where I'm like, at this point, we've been having this talk for 30 minutes. Go put her in a room and make her learn a lesson. Take
So
away her
you
tablet.
Are taking the evil stepmother route.
No, I'm saying, and that's why Brian and I discuss things and parenting and all that beforehand. So when other people butt in, which they always do. And I don't know if that's a poor family thing where everyone thinks they have to help raise each
It takes
other
a village, yeah.
or whatever it is.
I don't know that that's a class thing.
Well,
though.
Brian's
I think
family
there's-
didn't do that. They aren't
Yeah,
like
but
that.
it sounds like his family is a completely different just dynamic in general.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like what you described, very quiet, very chill, very like
I just remember when my ex-wife and I had our older kids, when my mom would give me a hard time for not spanking them. And I was like, well, it worked out great for me, Mom. So
Right.
guess
Yeah.
what? I'm not going to do that with them.
Well, that's the other thing is that I'm like, what?
Let's see how it turns out.
Now I'm
Of course,
punching him
they're
in the
awesome.
chest.
It's really hard not to like hurl insults back and forth because like when my brother and sister are giving me like advice and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like I watched you do this, that, or the other. I look at my mom and I'm like, bro, what do you have 5 storage units. Like how you gonna sit here and tell me that I shouldn't talk to her in a stern voice?
Hey,
You know, like
take her to a storage unit and straighten her out. Don't do it here in front of everybody.
so there was
So
you know.
the trip out of Hocking Hills when everybody goes their separate ways, was everybody happy and hugging and all
Yes,
that?
absolutely. Like
All
it
right,
wasn't
good.
but it was a buildup
There's
of
no,
problems
of
too.
course. It had to be.
That conversation
like a
needed
therapy
to be
weekend,
had.
yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
I even wrote that in like the little guest book. I was like, should we just write that it was an awesome weekend? My mom goes, no, be honest. I was like, great cabin to have family therapy in.
Oh, you just made a mess.
But yeah, when I sent Brian a text this morning, and I was like, just watching you this weekend was like so hot.
She
And
got
I
all
love
wet
you.
sitting there in front of her
Oh
family.
my
You
God.
need to,
Look
you need to
at
borrow my
you.
pool table?
I think I do. My goodness.
It's having it refelted.
But it was like a real gay text too. I was like, my love for you grew so much deeper this weekend.
Ugh, shut up. Ugh, that's so much worse than anything I
Is that
said.
the worst? Is that the worst thing?
She said, I wish you would have taken me
You're
out in
My
the woods
love
behind
for
a tree
you.
or something.
You're the perfect partner, and I can't wait to further this relationship.
I wouldn't even write that.
You fairy.
Yeah,
know.
You have to
you
say-
ruined it. He did all this hot stuff, and then you get it all. Ugh.
You have to say that to his face. You don't write it down.
I was just excited.
You fairy.
Yeah,
I got
we're
to
good.
take a
We're
break.
good.
All right, good. Let me take a break here. You want to send a text 35192. Don't text me how your love for me has grown exponentially in this segment, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on
From the Barrio Tacos Tequila and Whiskey Studios.
The Buzzard. The home of the Buzzard.
Buzzard. This is 100.7 WMMS.
Cleveland. The words radio and Ohio both end in I-O. And I-O is one of the moons of Jupiter. Have fun trying to figure out whatever the that means. I-O, I-O. It's the Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Our next guests blew the roof off the dump the last time they were here, and they're back tonight with a hit song from their current CD, Astro Lounge. Ladies and gentlemen, Smash Mouth Kids.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. And she was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead.
He was never an amazing singer, but Steve Harwell, who was the founding member singer of Smash Mouth, died over the weekend.
Oh, he died?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that he was in the hospital, but I didn't know that he actually died.
Yeah, very, very close together, the story that he was in hospice care. He basically drank himself to death. This guy was a heavy, heavy drinker. So he died of liver failure. He was a young guy. He's 56. Because of all of his health issues, he retired from the band a couple of years ago. So Smash Mouth still gigs out, but they have a new guy singing for them. But he had a pretty, this was 20 plus years ago on Letterman, but he had a pretty distinctive voice. And the word went out maybe 48 hours ago that he was in hospice and he only had a few hours to live. And then Rolling Stone published a story that he had died. Co-founded the band Smash Mouth in 1994. It's funny, purely coincidentally, during my jury duty stint last week, the only streaming service I could get to load in the jury room was HBO Max. So I was watching old Larry Sanders Show episodes.
Nice.
It's probably one of my favorite shows of all time, Larry Sanders Show. And it's funny, because that show's early 90s, that Smash Mouth at that time was considered like
They're
the cool hip band, though,
Right, with
because
their
like
bowling shirts,
because like
Frosted tips.
this particular episode had
pencil beard.
had Winona Ryder, who was like the it girl at the time in the early 90s. She's standing there like jamming out to Smash Mouth, you know. But again, they had a bunch of hits. They kind of became a joke to some people because they were in the Shrek movies and blah, blah, blah. But he had retired a few years ago. See, this guy, no matter how many stories you heard about this guy being a dick, to me, he got a lifetime pass because he lost a kid. And I don't know how anybody comes back from that.
Right.
Like 20 years ago, he had a baby, and then at 6 months old, it dies from leukemia.
Oof.
So I don't know how anyone comes back from that. But Steve Harwell, we played the clip sometimes. Years ago,
him
they
freaking out and throwing bread at people or something.
They did a wine festival
Yeah.
in Colorado 6 or 7 years ago, and he got really mad because this festival had been giving out bread to people, and they started whipping him up on stage.
That's right.
He really kind of laid the groundwork for now people throwing crap at artists all the time. Right? It used to be verboten. Now you go to a show, you're surprised if they complete their set and nobody throws any crap at them. But people were throwing bread at Smash Mouth, and he wasn't pleased about it.
You throw one more piece of shit on stage, I'm gonna come find your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass, whoever the you are out there, okay? You wanna be a badass? Come up here, come on. Walk your badass up here, come on. Come on stage. Come on stage, badass, come on.
Yep. Come on stage, badass. I will kick your ass up here.
Throw one more piece of bread.
One more piece of bread.
I'm gluten-free, God damn it.
Yeah. So that was years ago. That was way before people were regularly throwing things at artists. So Steve Harwell died. Gary Wright died. You guys probably don't know the name Gary Wright.
I don't.
He did a very famous, his biggest song was a song called Dreamweaver. It
I know Gary Wright.
Yeah, it was a very famous song
Dreamweaver
for a
song.
while, and then it got a new generation of people because it was in Wayne's World.
Yeah. That's what I know it from. And that's what we would call pretty girls. For whatever reason, like we call them weavers. When I was like probably 10 or 11 years old, me and my buddies would all be like, "Oh, she's such a weaver."
That's so weird.
Because of
It's
this
so
song?
weird because of this song, because
She's
of Wayne's
such a
World.
weaver?
Yeah.
Not because you're a big McLeod fan?
No, just
Anyone?
no.
Okay, well,
No one.
Gary Wright, 2 people in the audience got that. That was for you. Gary Wright died at 80. He was best known for Dreamweavers, by far his biggest hit. He had a couple other songs, but he also did a lot of collaborations with George Harrison. George Harrison loved Gary Wright, and so they did a lot of work together. But he had been declining in the past few years. He died of Parkinson's and dementia. Boy, that is no way to go.
Doubling up.
Yeah.
Make up your mind.
He lived out in Palos Verdes in California.
Palos Verdes?
Palos Verdes Estates, Poundcake. How about that?
Ooh, it's a gated community.
He's not living.
Probably.
He's not living out there with the rabble of Palos Verdes. He's living in Palos Verdes Estates, or was. But he had what Robin Williams had. He had that Lewy body dementia.
Mm.
And so he had a pretty swift decline in the last few months. But he had this huge hit as a solo artist, but he also founded a band before he went solo that I think has the greatest name of all time. He founded a 60s band in the UK called Spooky Tooth.
That's a Fatheads beer. That's their pumpkin beer.
Well, it's a great name for a
Spooky
band,
Tooth.
and they had a couple of hits too, didn't they? What was the big Spooky Tooth song? They had... now I got to look.
Mouth candle? I don't know.
No, Spooky Tooth had one, Oh Evil Woman.
Oh, okay.
And Better By You, Better Than Me, which Judas Priest would cover some years later. But Evil Woman, not the ELO song.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Song. Big Spooky Tooth hit. Gary Wright, Spooky Tooth, brand new song here on The Buzzard.
I know the ELO song. I don't know this one. This is a long way to go from this to Dreamweaver.
Yeah, well, you know. Like that. Well, you know, that 70s British hard rock scene was really cranking out a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
So, Evil Woman, and yeah, they had a lot of songs that people would go on to cover later on. Judas Priest would cover one of their songs. I think David Lee Roth covered Tobacco Road. So Gary Wright, yeah, he was Dreamweaver is what most people associated him with, but he collaborated with a lot of other people. He did a lot of work with George Harrison. He would go out with B.B. King, and so Gary Wright died at 80 years old, and then Jimmy Buffett died.
Oh,
and this was a big thing at Casa Cox because my wife is she was like legit upset over the weekend because Jimmy Buffett died, and she's a big Jimmy Buffett fan. She doesn't rise to the level of parrot head, but that's strictly the domain of old white men. But you never have a bad time around Jimmy Buffett music, I guess, was her thought.
It's chill.
And
music.
Jimmy Buffett was a guy who has always been around, kind of.
Right, and he's a guy that you thought was just going to keep being around. I saw that very early in the morning on Saturday and sent it to you guys, and I was just very shocked by it. And I'm not a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, but I felt bad. I was like, oh, man,
That's what I'm
a
saying,
really
like, Jimmy
big
Buffett,
bummer,
you know,
because I know what he means to so many people.
Yeah, people like to kind of make fun of him. They think it's corny or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of camp in his music, but the guy could write a song. It might not have been your thing, but he wrote a lot of great... Dude had a way with a turn of phrase and had a way with words.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Buffett had a very rare... They didn't initially say what he died of, and then about 24 hours later, they go, he died of skin cancer, and everybody's like, oh, my
Shocking.
God,
Yeah.
womp womp. Like a very rare skin cancer, actually. Lucky for this guy. Something called Merkel cell carcinoma. He and his sister both got cancer at the same time. They said that he died from this over the weekend, but that he'd been battling it for the last 4 years, and he and his sister had been diagnosed with 2 different kinds of cancer at the same time 4 years ago. He got a rare and aggressive form of skin cancer called Merkel cell carcinoma. It's 3 to 5 times more deadly than your garden variety melanoma.
Damn. That sucks.
About 3,000 people a year get it. So it's pretty rare.
Dang.
It's 40 times more rare than melanoma, which is
Not
it's
as
a
rare.
lot more common, yeah.
I was on the Funny Bus yesterday and did like a Smash Mouth and then Jimmy Buffett tribute while you're driving down West 25th, and it was a packed day, so everybody hears the bus coming and starts singing along on the streets, which was a very it was a kind of a sweet moment.
You don't have
those things.
you don't have a bad time around Jimmy Buffett music.
No,
you know?
it's But Kyle Kinane has the best bit about this song.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Margaritaville in real life.
Margaritaville, the place.
Yeah, because he's like, Margaritaville is the saddest song in the world, not as it was written, but as it exists now. Because when it was written, it wasn't a real place; it was imaginary. But now, Margaritavilles are everywhere. So a guy crying at a Minnesota St. Paul Margaritaville is really pathetic.
Yeah, he had a string of restaurants called Cheeseburger in Paradise, too. He had the Margaritaville restaurants. Jimmy Buffett became a billionaire this year, and it killed him, clearly. But he's kind of he's a guy that's always been around. He had a number of near-death experiences throughout his life. I was reading up on that. He had 2 plane crashes he walked away from. I mean, like a whole lot of times that he
got that Harrison Ford luck.
Could have died, yeah. And so, it was some years ago that Gwen and I and your ex-wife, the 3 of us went to see Jimmy Buffett out of Blossom, and it was just a friggin' monsoon. I mean, it just poured rain. But everybody had a good time,
You guys still went to the show? Or are you
yeah,
guys already there?
Yeah, you're not gonna. I mean, Blossom's not a thing that you just 86 on a moment's notice. I mean,
I did.
Well, you did, but you don't care about what other people having a good time.
Pentatonics, though.
Yeah, right.
Buffett fans, you can have fun in the rain,
Well, yeah. I mean, every Jimmy Buffett tailgate is like a football game at a university where every student is a boomer. Like that's kind of, people put sand in their flatbed and all that kind of crap. So that wasn't really our vibe, but it's, Nor our daughter said, "Who's Jimmy Buffett?" And I go, "He's the guy mommy likes who writes songs about food," at being cheeky. And she goes, "Like Perry Grip?" I go, no, not like that. No, this guy's got a whole lot of songs. And so on the way back from Michigan yesterday, because we were out at her dad's lake house all weekend, we were listening to
Did you guys get in fights and therapy?
I did not. No, we had a great time. Yeah, no.
I didn't say we didn't have a great time.
Went out on the lake with some friends, and yeah. So we listened to the Margaritaville station all the way back. But I mean, really, not only is this a huge blow to the steel drum community, by the way, that was the most recognizable part of any Jimmy Buffett song. All right, enough of this. That's like I make fun of Gwen. I'm like, I like potatoes and tomatoes and a beer, but
those are all good things.
Yeah. Did you swim in the lake?
A little bit.
Ew.
But not much.
Are you not? Okay, we went to the lake down in Hocking
kind of freaked
Hills.
out.
Well, Brian is a very clean person. He has OCD. He is very much staunchly in the pool camp, not a beach guy. We go to the lake. He wore his flip-flops into the lake because he's like, I'm not stepping on any of this. I don't want the mushy mud between my toes.
Those are stuck to your feet now.
No, we were out. No, I kind of freaked out. I'm not a big swimmer. And so we were out in the middle of a lake by the swimming hole, and everybody was like in something floaty because they're sitting around drinking. It was like 6 boats were tied, to each other, and everybody's screwing around or whatever. And I kind of freaked out. I wasn't very pleased with myself.
Fun?
Well, I had
because you're afraid you're gonna drown.
Yeah, I'm not good in huge bodies of water like that, and the whole lake thing. I don't want to be in natural bodies of water anymore, and
that's Brian's whole thing. You don't know what's in here.
Now, I am not flip-flop in the water guy, but I mean, I'm not sure what to attribute it to. I had put some. I was drinking a couple of long drinks. Had some Ripple powder in them, and so I'm not sure at what point.
What's Ripple powder?
Yeah, Google it. It's one of those. I'm not sure when that kicked in.
I feel like you're the type of guy who wants to feel in control, and you have to, when you're in a situation like that, you have to surrender to the elements.
Yeah, I just it freaks me out. And so everybody had a good time. I mean, our buddy's boat, he was basically pulling this giant inflatable bar behind him, so it had seats and a table in the middle. So a bunch of us got on that, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, there was a minute there where I was really kind of
freaking out.
I was freaking out. But again, I don't want to be that guy where I'm like, anybody's got to look after me, or I don't want to kill anybody's good time.
When I was
neat.
When I was at the lake with Erica's family, we went on a little pontoon boat, and it wouldn't start for some reason, and we had already untied from the dock. So we were there, it started drifting away as we're trying to start. It
wouldn't start.
Yeah, the battery was dead. Apparently, they have we rented it, and they left the battery.
Someone probably left the switch on.
I think it was on purpose. Like they make it so it doesn't shut on at night or something like that, or it doesn't like
shut on.
It doesn't die overnight. So they didn't know that because it was just a new rental, and so we had to figure it out and troubleshoot. We had to get tied back to the dock, so I had to jump in because I was the only one that wore their swim trunks for whatever reason. So I jumped in and
saving the day.
Why were you the only one in trunks? You're going out on the lake.
They didn't plan on jumping in.
Yeah, well, we were all on boats too, but I mean,
no one else was planning on getting in. They just wanted.
I see. You were just going to be on the boat. Yeah, but it's still a cool look. It's fun.
Yeah, and I was like, it's summer. Like I bought these swim trunks. I'm gonna wear them. I want to showcase my butt. But the optics of that whole situation, the one black guy out of the group jumps in the water and pulls the boat to shore. And
it's like the reverse of the Alabama fight. It's like, you're like, no, you can park here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was something. But I totally get it because when you're not on a boat for a while and then you're just like in there, you forget how there's water that can get aboard and it's okay. It doesn't mean you're sinking. But I don't know. It's an uncomfortable feeling.
I'm most sad about the death of Jimmy Buffett because Lost in the Purge a number of years ago was we did Turd Burglar in Paradise. Remember that?
God, yes.
Erica sang background, and I wrote Poundcake some lyrics right before we went to Jamaica, and then we played it when we were in Jamaica, and it was just a fantastic song, but lost that in the involuntary purge. I have no idea where Turd Burglar in Paradise is.
He had a tough time with that.
Ah, boy. But it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
well, when you never heard the song before.
I know.
No,
that made it even better. But yeah, so...
I'm surprised you didn't know it from South Park.
I didn't know South Park
You know
did.
everything from
well,
South Park.
You do know everything from South Park.
South Park did a very, they made fun of that song specifically in an episode.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I saw that episode.
That was like a early 2000s one. So,
I mean, I don't know why I was surprised because Jimmy Buffett was one of those guys that everybody in the business knew, but one of the nicest, and it was very lengthy, one of the nicest tributes I saw on Instagram was from Paul McCartney, who wrote this long, glowing thing about how much he loved Jimmy Buffett and blah, 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 and how they used to sit around and just chat about stuff and whatever.
Just be rich together.
Yeah, just be rich together, sure. But I mean, Jimmy Buffett, whether you liked him or not, he created an entire genre of music, right? And it took him a while to get going. I mean, he grew up in Alabama. He was just a singer-songwriter tooling around in New Orleans for a long time, and then he went to Key West with a friend, and he was like, whatever I got going on, it's got to be
Florida
this.
Beach, yeah.
Right, and he became a billionaire this year because he licensed his name to friggin' retirement communities, But every genre now has a Jimmy Buffett. Like Sammy Hagar is the rock Jimmy Buffett. And Kenny Chesney owes his friggin' career to Jimmy Buffett. You got all these people flying the no shoes flags for Kenny Chesney. That's all Jimmy Buffett. He laid the groundwork for that. For guys to play guitar with no shoes on.
Jenna,
I guess. For the...
Jenna from 30 Rock had a nice second act because of ripping off Jimmy Buffett and... Chillaxamode or whatever it was.
Yeah. So he played last on July the 2nd. It was kind of a surprise thing where one of his bandmates was playing some charity in Rhode Island or something, and Jimmy Buffett was out on Long Island. So he said, well, let me come down there and we'll all jam together. And so, but that was the last time that he played live, and he looked very, very thin when he did that. So the Bay Village flag is being flown at half-mast to Casa Cox for my wife over the death of Jimmy Buffett. But again, good news for his family. He's a billionaire now on paper and goes away and leaves them all of his largesse, I guess. I got a break here. I'm going to have those. You want to go see Parkway Drive, our metal show, 2 hours to midnight. We're presenting a show. It's called The Wizards of Oz. They're all Australian bands. And one of them, of course, is going to be Parkway Drive. And so we want to get you to that one. So If you want to see them, a couple of tickets waiting for you on the other side of this. 35192 if you want to text, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app and your favorite smart device. Just tell it to play the Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.
Win your way to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival and $1,000.
You'll be there for a weekend full of superstar performances, never before seen collaborations,
And once-in-a-lifetime moments you'll have to see to believe.
I want to see them all. Foo Fighters.
Keep out, buddy. It's just for us Buy-Well employees. This is where we talk freely about all the stuff happening in the world.
You can keep Meghan Markle for all I care. As long as I get to take Harry to a weekend in Vegas, I'm happy. It's Employees Only, courtesy of Ron Howard, the new podcast from Imagine Audio, Pretty Fast, and iHeartMedia. It's Employees Only. Listen on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now it's time to give stuff away. Time to give stuff away.
All right, I won a couple of tickets to Parkway Drive. 2 Hours to Midnight presents the Monsters of Oz 2023 tour. It's all Aussie bands. Parkway Drive, your headliner, with the Amity Affliction, North Lane, and Make Them Suffer. It's all going to go down at Jacobs Pavilion in a couple of weeks. Friday, September 22. All the info on the show, tickets, everything else, at axs.com. If you dig those bands, good lineup. A couple here for Parkway Drive and Friends for the Monsters of Oz tour. Caller 10, good luck, 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
You'd flee a wildfire. Evacuate. You'd prepare for a hurricane. But there's no escaping this disaster.
It's one of the worst disasters that I've seen in my career.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
A little Parkway Drive for you. I'm a buzzard, song called The Void.
Nothing can save us. Nothing between. Infinite madness and the spiral of your...
We're not doing 2 Hours to Midnight this Saturday. There's like a 9 o'clock Guardians game, so we'll be preempted by baseball on Saturday night. But if you weren't able to join us this past weekend for 2 hours of metal, I have you can just recreate it in your own home or your car or wherever else. I always post the playlists for you at the 2 Hours to Midnight Facebook page, and you can also find it at WMMS.com. But we'll be preempted this Saturday night, and we will return on the 16th with another 2 hours of metal. In the meantime, something you want to hear, if you're in a local metal band, submit your stuff. Just send it to htm@WMMS.com. And if I like it, I'll play it. It's usually just that simple. Sorry.
You all right?
Yeah, burp.
Not a good burp.
Oh, no. Guardians play a little bit early tonight. We'll skip out a couple minutes ahead of time. 6:10 is going to be your start. Guardians did not have a good time last night in that first of the series. 20-6 against the Twins. How does that happen? Like,
They didn't try.
I took the day off. It's Labor Day.
I mean, clearly they, yeah, but Labor Day is to commemorate people who do try. Not only try, but succeed and forge ahead. Anyway, cold bats at Progressive Field yesterday. Hopefully a better result tonight. Twins, Guardians, 6:10. Tonight they will finish off that series with an afternooner tomorrow. Then they'll head to Anaheim to play the Angels. They'll go to San Francisco to play the Giants. And then they'll come back home the weekend of the 15th. Yes, Poundcake?
He's not saying.
Oh, I thought he was chuckling at something.
Now you're here.
Line drive Peter.
Independent fielder.
Yeah, independent
is,
fielder and line drive
well,
Peter need to get it going so they're not getting 20 runs scored on them.
Oh, boy.
I've had so many people come up and be like, that is the funniest, wildest thing.
It's
Line
great.
drive, Peter.
Yeah. But a wild pitch. Stephen Kwan's birthday today, by the way, for those who celebrate from your Cleveland Guardians. So keep that in mind. They finally let people out of Burning Man. I don't know if you saw any of the footage from...
Were they trapped?
74,000 people were trapped at Burning Man because of massive, massive flooding there in Nevada. It just turned the entire place into mud. Some celebrities got out. You might have seen the video of Diplo, the DJ, and Chris Rock in the pickup truck. They walked a couple of miles out of the venue, and I guess a passerby picked them up.
I'm sorry, just coming in to this conversation, but that stuff gives me anxiety. The waiting in line. Were those people getting out of Burning Man or
this morning they were finally given the go-ahead to start filing out. So it's about 74,000 people I honestly didn't know that many people went to Burning Man.
70,000, like it's a town.
Yeah, that's kind of what they try to create. And you're supposed to, because my first thought was, ooh, let's see what happens here when it turns into Firefest Part 2. But you are supposed to show up with everything you're going to need. You know, everybody brings their own stuff.
3 days?
3 or 4, maybe?
So it's not like these people are there for 2 weeks.
Correct.
You need 3 days
But
worth of stuff.
It is so remote. It's what is it? Black
Rock Park.
Yeah, it's so remote in the desert of Nevada. Like, I just don't understand how something like this hasn't happened before. I guess the rainfall, but
yeah, they're not expecting flooding in Nevada. Like if you saw any of the video of like the Vegas Strip, I was texting my buddy who lives out there, the guy that I had lunch with when we were out there on the 4th of July. I'm like, "Are you guys okay, by the way?" And he's like, "Oh, we're fine." He goes, "But downtown Vegas and the Strip," he goes, "are bananas." It was like the Rio Grande was going down the Vegas Strip. There was so much flooding. So yeah, obviously an hours-long traffic jam. They finally gave people the go-ahead to leave Burning Man this morning.
Oh, I would hate that.
Boy, that was a smelly festival, wasn't it?
You know it.
I mean, under normal circumstances, Burning Man is probably a smelly festival.
Yeah, they're wearing gear from like what's that movie that has Bane? Yeah, Mad Max.
No, that's not Bane.
Oh, that's not Bane.
Bane's from Batman.
The Dark Knight.
Oh, okay. Well,
but
sorry.
your point is taken. Like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome there.
So you're in the desert. You're already hot, but then you put that gear on top of that, and then it's raining, so everyone smells like wet dog underneath the sweat, underneath the and you know people were banging anyways. People will find any excuse. It's the end of the world. Let's go out in the desert and bang or something. Porta potties were overflowing. Yuck.
Yeah, that's what Chris Rock said. He had been posting some things. He goes, they can't do anything with the porta potties because they're overflowing.
So you just poop it somewhere and then bury it. That's no big. Honestly,
You
that's
can't
really
bury it
in the desert.
It's mud and there's water everywhere. You can't really bury it.
It actually works.
Go out there.
It works in your favor under those circumstances because you can't tell what's mud and what's poop.
You rather
what's
not
art.
know.
Well, you got fertilizer to grow your crops or whatever.
You know those crops in the desert?
Yeah, desert crops.
They the exit times. They call it the exodus when everybody leaves. And you always have to wait a long time, obviously. The wait times were 3 hours this morning for people to leave Burning Man. By the way, for people, I got the notification right before we went on the air that United Airlines has a nationwide ground stop because of computer issues. So anybody trying to fly back from the holiday weekend on United is sitting in an airport.
That is awful.
Ugh, how long is that supposed to last?
They don't know.
Why don't these people just
nationwide?
fly
They're
private?
like,
I don't understand.
Yeah, this guy, he doesn't understand.
Commercial airlines is for the birds, man. Fly private. That's all.
That's an endorsement you need. Hi, I'm Cody for Fly Private.
For PJs.
PJs, yeah. Hey, I'm Cody. Man, I'll tell you what. When it comes to flying, I'm not doing it with the plebes. I'm not going to be in no tube of demons.
I love privates and I love jets. Put them together and and you got a winning team.
A winning combination.
Yeah.
Privates and jets.
I got to see a lot of the air show stuff pretty well from just being in the pool all weekend.
I wanted to go, but it was too much.
See, that's why I like to just watch it from my house.
Good for you.
I don't need to be there, but just seeing a couple of the formations, you see the Thunderbirds out there, like, okay, that was fun.
It's pretty loud too, right?
It's very loud, yeah.
I mean, on Thursday down here, they were doing all their flybys and crap.
Practices and stuff, yeah.
It's so neat though. Like you hear it. I wanted to go out and lay out. I wasn't gonna pay, but I was gonna lay out, go to like Mall B, and my friend was like, "Do you know the traffic down here?" I'm like, "All right, fine." I just walked from my apartment.
What did you do over the holiday?
It really was kind of uneventful. I went to like a party at Vibe on Friday, which is it's so funny because I Ubered there. I used to live over by there, and now that I live further away, that's when I finally started going. But I've never been on a Friday, and it was jumping. And my Uber fare, I spent more getting there than
in the club
than drinks. Like I drank all
night. Is this the one at Lorraine and 117?
Yes.
Yeah, I just passed that the other day. I didn't know if it was still open.
It's open, and the drinks are like cheap. Like I got drunk all night and my tab was like $11. I was like, this is amazing.
$11.
Well, that part of town, that's the.
No wonder they were packed.
Yeah,
they're just trying to get people to show up.
And then I was like, against my better judgment, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go home.
That's not a very far Uber either. Like that's just down the street from you.
I know. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just go home. And then I was like, let me just see how Twist is going. And I'm like, damn it. Like they suckered me in and I went there and got drunk too. So that was Friday. Saturday.
He's making the rounds, boy.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, Saturday, I don't remember what I did. It was maybe that was the day where I was just like, I'm not good at being hungover, so I just drank and drank water and then like napped. Under
Saturday night, I went to the new metal. They call it Mall Goth Metal Night. So it's Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit and stuff like that, and they just DJ.
This is the Foundry?
Yeah, the Foundry. And it's a good time. Have some drinks.
Is that owned by Studio 117 or no?
No.
Oh, that's across the street.
Yeah.
In that.
Foundry's a little like metal club over there.
Yeah. I've been
there.
And
my buddy, like, they used to do emo night there, and this is like what they're replacing emo night with because that moved over to Mayhall's. But that was a good time.
So they're just throwing the goth in with the new metal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yesterday, though,
that's the mall aspect of it, where it's like you just like to dress like you like to shop at Hot Topic. So basically just Hot Topic.
Oh, and they can't call it Hot Topic night. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Somebody flipped out because a kid on TikTok said, hey, well, I'll play it for you. Do you see this? The kid's like, hey, I hate to tell you, these are all dad rock bands now. And it's like System of a Down, Slipknot.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah.
They played that, and I did
the... These bands are definitely considered dad rock now.
No! Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. She's a dwelling place for demons. They become so numb.
Linkin Park, Nessa, anything 20 plus years old now, I guess this kid considers dad rock now. And the dude in the video is flipping out because he's like, I like these Muse. There you go, Poundcake, my count. Oh, are those now legit dad rock bands?
That's all some of Brian's favorites. Like when he went to Incarceration, or which one was Linkin Park? Yeah, Incarceration. And he was so excited to see some of those. I'm like, oh man, this is.
No, the Linkin Park didn't do. Not Linkin Park. They're not a thing.
No. Limp Bizkit. My bad.
Limp Bizkit.
My bad.
Yep.
My bad. Never mind.
It's okay. You don't know him.
Ignore my whole story.
He was excited to see those bands.
I don't think he likes Linkin Park.
Yeah. Linkin Park's great.
I like Linkin Park. Yeah.
Do it. La, 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 la.
Yeah. Why don't you cover that, Spooky Tooth? Oh, that's a good version of that song.
That's Zad Rock.
Yeah. Oh, Zad Rock.
I made the mistake of going to Lakewood Park yesterday on Labor Day.
On Labor Day when everybody's there, so you can't get. There's not even a place to put a chair or a blanket.
And I wasn't even trying to do all that. My friend was like, I don't have my kid for a couple hours. We're going to do something. She's like, I'm free. She's like, I'm free till 8. We're about to do something. I'm like, man, I really don't want to. She's like, you ain't doing nothing. Come on, you ain't got no kid. So I get guilt tripped into going on these little excursions. And I was like, all right, well, let's see it. It was just jumping at Lakewood Park. I've never seen that many people there. I'm like,
that place gets packed.
Especially
that
on
place
Labor Day.
and Edgewater.
I didn't even want to bother with
They
Edgewater.
close off entry to Edgewater.
I knew
Yeah,
that.
and you see
can't go.
people like there's cars lined up all the way down the Shoreway, all the way to Clifton. It's crazy. People trying to get into Edgewater. I'm like, guys,
it's like trying to leave Burning Man.
Great.
Or Blossom, for that matter.
I'm a sucker. I need a jet ski. That's the one thing I've seen all week that I'm envious
get one.
of.
Get a jet ski.
I'm not very adventurous, but there's something about a jet ski where I'm like, I'm missing out. I saw them like when I was out.
They're fun for like a little while.
I don't
just
want to
rent
own one.
Yeah, just rent one.
Yeah.
I need a friend with a jet ski. Like I have friends with boats. I just need a friend with a jet ski.
Jet skis are way easier to rent than own.
Where around here can you? Like,
Everything's easier to rent than own. I mean,
But
you can rent them. I mean,
there's places. Just look it up.
I would look so cute on a jet ski.
That's what it is.
I would.
Get himself like a neon green life vest and the whole
I can't
bit.
imagine him ever going fast enough on a jet ski, just based on when we were in Jamaica.
Based on how you drive.
Based on how he drives. And when we were in Jamaica, we did those four-wheeler things.
We went mudding.
And he
that's
stalled it
different.
out immediately.
That's different.
And then again, and then he made me drive again.
There was a trail, and there's stuff that you can hit in the lake. You can hit stuff, but it's very hard to hit something. And I feel
And
like
a four-wheeler in the mud would be a lot more difficult than just firing up a jet ski.
But I could see him like going so slow.
Overly
still.
cautious.
Yeah, overly cautious.
'cause some
Like he's
people-
not gonna get up like where you're like hydroplaning. He's just gonna be like just driving
Cruising.
around, just kind of cruising,
Making
like,
a tiny
just
wake.
keeping it no wake. No wake.
I would
You'd be
get
pound
used to
wake.
it.
Yeah.
I would get used to it and get my balance first, because there's people out there that just be doing too much. They want to do they want to make a little wave with the jet ski. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go so fast.
He'd be a guy that would accidentally like rev it and fall off, and the jet ski keeps going, and he's just floating in the middle of the
It just goes all the way to Canada. Take that, you pirates!
I voluntarily turned over my Sea-Doo to the Canadian pirates.
How much gas like does a jet ski hold? Like how many?
Couple ounces.
I'm just saying
More, but also a couple ounces.
How many miles can you go on a jet ski? Like you wouldn't be able to take it to Lake Erie, would
Probably
you?
20 miles per hour.
I mean, to Canada on the other side of Lake Erie.
I don't know. You might be able to.
Like ride it all the way to Put-in Bay. It's just like a squad of jet skis, like a cowboy.
Like Waterworld.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of jet skis. Just
Well, how
making their
far?
way
I mean,
to
a full
Put-in Bay.
tank in a jet ski is about 100 miles. How far away would you want to go?
Well, let's say
You're not going to
from-
go 100 miles on a Sea-Doo.
if he
out.
wants to go to Canada.
I was gonna say from Cleveland.
You got to go
Put-in Bay.
50 if you want to come back.
If you want to ride your jet ski from Edgewater to Put-in Bay for a day trip, you could do that.
You could, but boy, would you be tired.
You're not doing anything.
The leg, yes, it was. There's a lot of leg work involved in that. Just looking
How?
At the guys.
Well,
It's a
depending on
jet ski.
depending on how choppy the lake is.
But
and
you're
yeah.
not doing anything.
Yes, you are.
What?
You're bouncing. Like you have to.
It's not a canoe.
No, but it's still
You
you're
have to-
you're still at the mercy of the waves.
You're
and
steering.
Yeah,
It
you
takes-
gotta
You're steering, but I don't think that you're going to be exhausted after riding a jet ski for an
50
hour.
miles.
1 hour. How fast do they go? 30 miles per hour? So that'd
They
be
go
2
pretty
hours.
fast. Yeah, I'm talking about him, not us. I'm talking about
Anyone.
him.
I don't think that's going to exhaust you.
I just want to
You're
know.
not
I don't know.
swimming.
He seems to get easily exhausted.
What's the furthest journey that someone has taken on a jet ski? Because
You mean an emotional one, or
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
saying they're more recreational. You just go around the area and don't really go anywhere. But if you want to travel via jet ski, I want to know where the first they traveled. They just docked their jet ski.
I
like,
mean,
"I'll
you
be
could
back."
probably you could go to Put-in Bay on a jet ski. I think there's a reason you don't see people doing that.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah. But, when you're on a boat, like a pontoon or speedboat or something, you're like with everybody and having a good time. Jet ski, like you're by yourself. So it's fun for a little while,
They make
but then
some
you're
of those
like,
where you can
I'm
put,
out here.
Yeah, they make some where you can have somebody riding.
I
But again,
wouldn't
it's
trust
not as relaxing as a boat.
Well, no, most
Yeah.
of them you can have two people. I'm just saying that a lot of people don't do that. They're just out there dicking around, and like that's fun for like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's on my bucket list. I want to do it.
You'd get halfway to Put-in Bay and go, I wish I didn't do this. This is a bad idea.
Well,
I've made a terrible decision.
Me going to Put-in Bay in the first place. I'm like, what am I doing there?
Yeah. But then you got to get gas and you got to fill it up so you can get back. Unless you're going to find somebody with a trailer
I was like, and then
and
it starts,
space to haul your Sea-Doo back to Cleveland.
starts to rain. And then
Yeah,
I'm
he's like, I don't
screwed.
want to ride back.
I live here now.
That's right. And I wouldn't blame you.
Dude, that's a long way. You think people from Put-in Bay, like that's how they get to the mainland? They're like, I don't have a boat, but I have a jet ski, and I'm just gonna ride it to the dock.
Yeah,
that's
sure, of
doable.
course.
might,
I'm sure
yeah.
there's all kinds of people that do stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. That's island life.
That's what killed Jimmy Buffett. Jet skiing. He got run over. He was out there living his best life, and then he fell. It's Poundcake. I got to get the hell out of this thing. Somebody come out and get me.
One of our customers
Where's
messaged.
Cody? He's out in the middle of the lake on a jet ski. What? Why is he out there? I'm trying to ride a Put-in Bay, bitch. One of our customers, what?
I was saying that Poundcake actually would be a great person to promote private jets. Because be like, can you imagine having to sit next to me on a plane? Fly private.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
The
worst.
negative reinforcement approach to marketing.
The last time I was on a plane, I ended up having COVID, so that was a fact.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. You'd get riding that far in a jet ski, you'd get off that thing and your legs would be rubber.
I don't think your legs, it would be your arms more than anything.
No, your legs.
Everything.
You don't have to stand up. Sit down. Why do your legs hurt if you're sitting down?
Because your core, you still got to, even if you're sitting down, like you still have to keep stabilizing yourself.
Yeah, so
it's not going to be
on the jet ski.
Maybe I've been on a jet ski and it's always been awesome and fun and
But
chill.
you haven't gone 50 miles
Dude,
on it, is what I'm saying.
But I'm saying if you can have a good time for 45 minutes out there dicking around, how is that any different if it's twice as long?
Because the longer you do anything, the harder it's going to be.
0% sore in 45 minutes. Why would you be 100% sore in 90 minutes?
Because the water changes the further you go.
Yeah, the
I
water
don't know.
changes.
I disagree. I think that this is
Once
this
you have that
really
Canadian
chill.
water.
There's no Canadian water on Put in Bay. That's Ohio water still.
Are you saying that Ohio water is going to be less choppy? What's the move here? Like, what
I'm
is
saying I don't think you would be exhausted from a 2-hour jet ski. You guys are making it seem like you're jumping over 25-foot waves in the Pacific Ocean.
No, you don't have to be in the middle of
To be chilling on a jet ski.
To get there.
Your little wrists.
There is some tension going, though.
Yes, but it's not. You're not on it for 9 hours. You're on it for 2, if that.
I think
you might be right.
I think
Let's
we
send
should test
Poundcake
this.
out.
I would do it. I'll go out.
I want Poundcake and Mary.
Let's
to go.
handcuff them to
Yeah.
a Sea-Doo, both of you. Handcuff you to each other, and then put you out there on the Sea-Doo. Alan, I'm 28. I'm in pretty good shape. I'm exhausted after riding my jet ski for over an hour at 40 miles per hour. You've been on one, Mary, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're on them for a long time, and because there's other boats, there's other jet skis, it's a lot of wake.
Mm-hmm.
You're moving around. It's like
And
it's not
especially
like
if
you're on
you're
it's not
out
like
there.
you're on a snowmobile on a smooth frozen lake.
I don't know.
We need to try this out.
I'm in. Send me and Cody out on a Sunday. We'll tape it. He has a GoPro. Get a drone.
Alan, technically a jet ski is the stand-up one. You guys are talking about wave runners. All right. But you know what we're talking about. If you know what we're talking about. Hey, Fat Andy.
What's up, Alan?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
What's up?
I was just telling, I don't know if that was Poundcake or what, but I rode my jet ski out the Chagrin River once and all the way to the air show. And I got gas when I got there.
Yeah.
Well, after all the other boats left, I had to ride through all their wakes all the way back to East Lake, and I was like an old man the next day. I could barely walk.
That's what I'm
It was
saying.
awful.
It's not smooth water the whole way. And
It's
so
your
you're gonna,
legs and your arms and your core and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
And
Fat
I haven't
Andy,
ridden
Mary.
one for that long. But if he's
That's
fat,
right.
that's why he's sore.
No, anybody would be. Skinny Andy would.
Yeah, the 20-year-old
It's
said he did.
ironic, Mary.
You hear how mad he got?
All right. Thank you, Fat Andy. I appreciate the check-in there. I got to take a break. If you want to send a text, 35192, AlanCoxShow.com is where you can watch. We'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. In Las Vegas this September. See the Foo Fighters.
Hey, we're 30 seconds to Mars.
Fall Out Boy and many more. Buy tickets now at AXS.com. This is The Buzzard.
From the Barrio Tacos, Tequila, and Whiskey Studios.
100.7 WMMS, Cleveland.
Giving stuff away.
All right, I want to go see Bill Burr. I got tickets for you to see him all this week, right around this time. He's doing Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium down in Canton. The show's not too far off, but a month away. Saturday, October 7th, Bill Burr live down in Canton. Tickets, info, everything else, you can get online, hofvillage.com for the tickets, provided they're not sold out. But I will have them for you all this week. Caller 10, you get this pair. Good luck, you and a pal, at Bill Burr next month. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
If you can't beat them, join them. And if you can't join them, send a strongly worded letter asking why your application was rejected. Another helpful tip from the Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
Guardians playing a little bit early tonight. 6:10 is the first pitch. That is the second of three against the Twins. Guardians went down hard last night. Around the corner, 20-6 was the final. But 6:10 tonight. We'll roll out a bit early. Get you into Gesundheit.
My goodness, thank you.
Get you into Guardians Twins here on The Buzzard. If you are watching the show live at AlanCoxShow.com, thanks. You can also thank Hundy Dippy Dunk for helping out back there in the video department. Thank you so much for your assistance. I've been getting a lot of questions about the Cox Out pre-games. And it also comes with a bit of bad news, by the way. You want the bad news first or the good news first?
Bad news first.
Bad news first is I heard from Al Marcinek, and he said that Terry is in ill health.
Oh, no.
Terry the Goat out there at Marcinek Farms. Al is our bureau chief in Carlton, Pennsylvania. And for 5 or 6 seasons now, Terry the Goat has picked our games week to week. Browns game. Well, sometimes Browns games, but on average gives us about 10 picks per week. And then we go through Terry the Goat's picks. And people have been asking me, hey, is Terry the Goat going to pick games again this season? And I didn't know what to say to them. And then I heard from Al this morning. Terry's been sick the past few weeks, and I don't know if she'll be up to this season. I'll let you know if she gets better. Maybe we can bring her daughter, Mare,
I say she gave me my first kid.
to fill in for her if she doesn't feel up to it. So that's Al Marcinek out there in Carlton, Pennsylvania, who's been kind enough to offer up Terry's abilities these past few NFL seasons. That's the bad news. Now, the good news is the Cox Outs are going to happen, except I am completely changing them.
Oh. Right.
I'm flipping them completely on their head.
You meet at a Burger King of your choice.
That's right. I will buy you those chicken fries. No, as long as we've been doing Cox Outs, we've been doing them downtown. And I thought, there's a lot of people who don't come downtown on game day. So I said, okay, let's go out and hang out with some people.
Didn't you kind of do this one year, like the COVID year? I thought they were...
COVID year, yeah, we did. And I had a great time because I got to places I wouldn't normally get. So the Cox Outs, and again, when I say I'm completely changing them, I'm completely changing them. The Cox Outs now are going to be in the burbs for away games.
All right.
So we've done 7 or 8 years of Cox Outs downtown, and so I'll have details for you. Now, there are only 6 away games because I ain't doing one on Christmas Eve.
Oh, you're not even committed.
I've done every Christmas Eve in years past. I'm done. I'm done with Christmas Eve. So we're going to be out in the burbs, and it's going to be for away games. Now, the first one is Monday Night Football on the 18th. So I'll haul ass out of here, and I'll get to where we're going to be. But so for people asking me, because I've had people go, hey, I haven't lived in Cleveland in 5 or 6 years. I'm moving back. Are you still doing Cox Out? Yes, I am. But I will have those details for you soon. But we're moving out of downtown, and it's going to be for away games. So we can watch the games together. Which
So it's
I
not
just
a pregame thing. It's you're there for the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll still be there, but I don't know exactly what times. I got to hammer that out.
Okay.
But the broad strokes are, I'm going to see you maybe somewhere out in your neighborhood.
It's going to change every week? Or can you not say that?
No, I don't know. I think it's going to be 2 or 3 places that will rotate.
Got it.
So not different every week, no.
First one's at mine and Brian's house. You guys come on out. It's gonna be super fun.
Do you like to live and or laugh and or love?
Oh.
Because do you like to breathe? Do you like to eat?
Babe, listen.
Dine.
We just dropped
Fork.
we dropped coin on fall decor. So it is
Did you
going
really?
to be an explosion.
Did you go to the at-home store? Where did you go?
We went to Old Time Pottery.
Oh,
and
right.
then we also had a bunch of stuff left over. Like from my apartment, things he's had. So we're really getting a good little
You have
collection
giant
going.
plastic tubs,
we
gasket tubs full of fall decor.
Two plastic tubs and then 2 boxes of pillows.
Yeah.
But we're ready for that first Cox Out pregame.
Which will probably be
It's at our house.
Well, it's gonna
September 18th is the first Cox Out. Yeah, it's Monday
the
Night
Monday
Football.
Night Football. Yeah.
So
Prime
that's
time.
those are the broad strokes. I just want to let everybody know.
Cox Out at night.
Yeah.
Hey.
Everybody been hitting me up, and I said, yes, we are going to do it. I will have full details for you very, very soon. But with that is the fact that we might not have Terry the Goat picking our... And again, she has already given us years of service. And so, most importantly, we'd like her to get better. Now, provided she does, right back at it.
Back to work, Goat.
Picking games, right? So I can input them on my FanDuel. Because the way I do FanDuel, we were in Michigan all weekend, and they have things on FanDuel in Michigan that we don't have here in Ohio. Play casino games in Michigan. We don't have casino games on FanDuel here in Ohio. So my thing is I double my money and then I cash out. And that's what I did. So if Terry can get around to picking games for us again, that's what I'll do. I just input her picks and I'm good to go. I do what the goat tells me to do. But as of now, we may not be able to avail ourselves of her services this year. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, tell me where you do that. You can drop us messages there. You can also leave us voicemails. Got a lot of those over the holiday weekend. A lot of people reverting back to using it as the drunk dial line, which is fine. I won't bore you with those. But thank you to everybody who left messages over the holiday weekend. That number, whenever you want to use it, is 216-986-8903.
Alan Kent, listening to Mary talk about her family weekend. I'm with you. I came from a non-yelling, kind of non-drama family. So I feel bad for Mary that everything is kind of filled with this, but I also think it's crazy that she keeps putting herself in these situations, kind of looking for a different result. I think she needs to go to Family Drama Anonymous and become sober from her family for a little while and just hit a hard reset button. I'm not a therapist. I didn't go to college, but I listened to the show from a long time, so I feel like I am qualified to give this advice. Okay,
I agree with him on that.
Love you. Bye.
Love me, love you, bye. Even Caleb's telling you what to do. You can't get away from it, Mary.
I'm not going to Drama
Everybody's telling you what to do.
Family Drama Anonymous is not going to happen. But here's the thing. This weekend wasn't yelling and screaming. This was actually productive. This was like hey, here's a boundary we're setting and we need you to respect it.
You lay down the law.
Yeah. And then it was fine after that, But
it took 2 days to get there.
It did take 2 days to get there. But also, here's the thing. Here's why I think we do it is because everyone has kids. There's a lot of kids, right? We don't get to see our extended family very often. So we're like, oh, the cousins can all make memory. I remember going and hanging out with my cousins for a weekend or going camping. Like, that's some of the best times you have,
And I didn't have cousins. So that probably contributed to why there wasn't a lot of yelling and screaming.
Well, and that's just part of it, though.
Yeah.
Is when you put in my family, even the little kids included, there are a ton of very big personalities, and they just clash.
Yeah.
So it's either we don't get the kids together to have fun, and we don't get together and have fun.
Yeah, you can't avoid
You know?
everybody.
Yeah.
But also, like, big personalities is one thing, but it sounds like there's a lot of bullies. It seems
It's
like
not bullies.
but
People are stubborn.
but that's not a good thing. That's not a good trait.
Well, I'm not saying that it is,
Right,
but I'm
but-
saying when you
But
have.
like that's like I feel like I have a big personality, but I'm not going to be irrational and unreasonable in a situation just because I don't want to be wrong.
Well, it's not even that. And I think you're misusing, maybe I'm not using the word big personality right. Like, everyone in my family is very blunt, very honest, and not afraid to speak their mind. So but we do have a really good time too.
It doesn't
But if they
sound like
disagree with you, there is zero hesitation
So
for
they have
someone
no
in my
couth.
family to just spit out, I don't like what you just said, or I don't like what you're doing.
So no one has any couth. No one has any tat.
No, but
almost like
also
we don't need it. Like, what do you need it for? If
this
you
is
don't
what
like,
my take on the whole thing is, even though you guys always get into something, you kind of know where everybody's coming from, so it's not like everybody's going to walk away
it's not a shock.
pissed and never talking to each other again.
Right.
It's just, this sounds like a conversation that was a long time coming and needed to be had.
Yeah, this is not like when we went to our family trip in Michigan last summer and I cussed my brother out and we didn't speak the rest of the time. Like, that wasn't this, you
Okay,
know?
right.
This was just like a clear boundary needed to be set on letting Brian and I figure out our parenting situation on our own, you know? Because it is a good time. And everyone, I'm not going to come out here and is that fun radio? Hey, guys, we had a great time. Everybody kissed and we're family. Like,
Everybody kissed. Oh, yeah.
The drama stuff is what people want to hear, I feel like, unless you want to hear about
Well,
all
no,
the fun times we had at the lake and the kids
if you
being
have fun,
cute,
funny
you
stories,
know?
too.
Yeah, we want to hear what happened. It doesn't have to be, we don't contrive things around here.
Oh, we went to a cave and the water was dried up and there was barely a waterfall.
Okay. I like
Ash
Damn
cave.
climate change.
Ash Cave in Hocking Hills, Ohio.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Oh, you did actually go to a cave.
Yeah, well, it's not really a cave so much as like a cavern. Ash Cave. It's like a big, giant, just like slab almost with an overhang.
We're
And
going
there's
to
like a
we're
hike
going to
it.
Louisville in October. I'm hoping to come back with some cave stories.
I had the caves come to me.
Brian. Every time I want to yell at you, I call you Brian.
Listener Bill's talking about vaginas.
Yes.
For those of you, he'll be in Cincinnati this weekend, everybody.
That's right.
And go bananas.
Get your tickets. Go bananascomedy.com.
That's right.
Gotta my pool table refelted, so I need you to come out.
Alan, how did you not have any cousins growing up? Because my mom had one brother who never had kids, and we didn't know my dad's side of the family. So, do I have physical cousins? Yes. Have I ever met them? No. So, these weren't people that anytime there was like a family reunion, it was my mom's extended family. And so I think I had a couple of like
Second cousin.
that we had one girl who was like a year younger than me, but we saw her like once every 5 years. So like growing up, when I had friends who were like, I was hanging out with my cousin this weekend, I'm like, that sounds so cool. And that's why I'm so happy that like my kids have cousins.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Well, and that's why we continue to get together, because it is a lot of kids and it's a lot of cousins and a lot. They have a blast. They have bickering and all that aside, you know, they're having a good time.
We had
and down the line, none of them are going to remember a weekend like this where they're like, oh, remember when we were 7 and you were screaming? Like, nobody remembers that.
No,
They don't remember anything until they're like 10 and they go, remember when we cut that frog in half?
That's not true.
Huh?
If something's embarrassing that they want to hold over your head, they'll remember that for life.
In your family, maybe. Not everyone is like that. Not everyone's looking for
I don't know.
dirt on someone.
My kids, when we all get together, one of their favorite things to do is just remember all the embarrassing moments from
but
it's
our
silly.
trips
It's
and stuff.
teasing.
Yeah, like, but it's
Yeah, but that's not holding it over someone's head. That's just reminiscing.
Yeah, reminiscing. But like but in the moment, it was like, this is the worst thing's ever happened, and now it's funny because time's passed.
Like, I remember I dared to try and take on, like, I tried to dress myself. It was like I was real young. Well, maybe I was like.
What,
12.
were you 30, almost 31 years old?
I was like maybe like 12 or something like that. My mom wasn't laying out my clothes for school anymore. And I had this green tracksuit and I had blue Timberlands. And I thought I would experiment with that. And I stood at the bus stop and just before I even got on the bus, I heard everyone, like roasting me. And I got on the bus and still to this day, people, I went to, a funeral not too long ago, and I ran into one of my old childhood friends. They grew up on my block, and he's like, I still remember you in that green tracksuit and those blue Timberlands. I'm like, why is that the first thing you go to? We're friends on Facebook. I've made such accomplishments since then, but blue Timberlands and green tracksuit.
What you're known for now.
Yeah, nobody ever wants to give you high fives for cool stuff you did. I threw up in class in kindergarten, and people were still talking to me about it in high school.
Remember the one time you puked?
Yeah, I mean, in middle school, like kids would see me in the hall and go, I was the puke in class kid through 8th grade.
Well, it's better than being the dumping class kid. There's a kid.
Yeah, but it's what's the difference? Like if you took a dump in class or you know.
Or the girl that fell down.
I also dropped my pants in class too, and people gave me a hard time for that.
Well, that sounds
I was a thing, in school.
I remember. Well, there's a kid, and I won't say his first name, but to try and keep it a little bit anonymous. But his last name played into the fact that he pooped his pants because his last name was Skidmore. And that.
Oh, no. Why does it always happen to someone like that? That sucks.
So sorry, bud.
Like you get a rhyming name.
Yeah. Well, just like skids and poop, and like it was just like, oh man, people went. He never lived that down.
Yeah, my name's Cox, and I dropped my pants.
Okay, well,
in the 3rd grade.
I used to get Cody Brown
underwear down.
Underwear down.
Like,
there was a girl.
Like helicoptering?
There was a girl I liked who dared me to go into the closet. In the back of the classroom. You know all the doors where you'd pull one and they'd all kind of fit into each other, right? And she goes, I bet you won't go back there and pull your pants down. I go, I bet I will. And I thought like she liked me or whatever. So I went back there and pulled my pants down and she opened the doors. And there I was, flapping in the breeze for everybody to see. My garanimals at my ankles. And so if I had any notions of getting rid of the puke stigma, they were washed away by having dropped my pants in the 3rd grade. AC projectile puker. It wasn't projectile. It was just on my on the top of my desk. I had a little bubble gut, and about a half a second after I raised my hand to alert my teacher, it all came out.
I wet my bed, or what? Oh, I wet the bed. That's a whole other thing. But that's I peed my pants in kindergarten, and I was wearing corduroy pants, and my mom and dad were out of town, so my grandma was staying with me, and they're like, "What's your grandma's name?" I'm like, Jerry. Her name's Geraldine, and I'm like, I think that's her name. I don't know. I call her Grandma.
Yeah,
I call her Grandma. And they're like, do you know her phone number? I'm like, I don't even know where she lives.
Right.
I just know she is at our house. I think sometimes when my parents are out of town.
Yeah,
like,
I get taken to her house.
Yeah.
I don't know her address.
I remember that.
Well, she was staying with us, but like during the day, she wasn't there because nobody was, or she was out running errands with my younger brother, or baby sister or something. I don't know. But
Pee-pee's what I like to do. Pee-pee-poo, pee-pee-poo, poo-poo. I like to do too. Poo-poo, pee-pee-poo. Poo-poo, pee-pee-poo, poo, pee-pee-pee-pee-poo, poo-poo. Oh, pee-pee's what I like to do. Pee-pee-poo, pee-pee-poo, poo-poo. I like to do too. Poo-poo, pee-pee-poo.
But my one buddy was in Catholic school, and they got out a little bit earlier, so he would come over to our school and walk home with us. And that day he had ridden his bike and he had pegs on it. So I got to ride on his pegs and he's like, I'll get you out of here, man.
I got you, buddy.
It's like Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah.
I remember I told one of the office people that I was like, oh, if you need to call my aunt or something, she's speed dial 5. And they thought it was hilarious. And I didn't understand it, but now I understand.
Why is that funny?
It's not speed dial on every phone.
Yeah, she was
speed dial on his phone.
I see.
I said, if you need, he said, do you know your? Because I think my mom was probably asleep or something. So they were like, your next of contact was like my mom's sister. I was like, do you know your aunt's number? I said, she's speed dial 5. And they started. The lady cracked up. The principal cracked up.
That's
everyone
hilarious.
cracked up.
I remember,
you piece of crap.
I remember I didn't know what a answering machine was and I called from my friend's house, and my mom kept picking up the phone going, "Hi, you've reached the Squire residence. Please leave a message." And I kept screaming like, "Mom, what are you doing?"
She probably thought something was wrong with you with all the voice, with the messages
Yeah.
she left.
She was like playing. She's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, I was like, I didn't know that there was a thing that could record you. It was 1988. I had no idea.
I got a break here. Hey, Perez Bilton is going to join us briefly for this week's Hot Celebrity Goss. Mary, if you didn't think it could get any better, Hot Celebrity Goss.
Yay.
On the way. And if you dig the band Asking Alexandria, they are coming to Cleveland to perform for you. It's going to happen September 19th at the Masonic Temple. I'll have those tickets for you after the break.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our free iHeart.
free stations.
It's free. I love iHeartRadio. Join the millions of music, radio, and podcast fans on the #1 streaming radio app now.
iHeartRadio.
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 Free never sounded so good.
All right, want to go see Asking Alexandria. Oh, they're from England. It's all bands and comics this week. Tickets for you to win. Asking Alexandria and special guest The Who. Mongolian folk metal, not Daltrey and Townsend. It's going to happen at the Masonic Temple on Tuesday night, September the 19th. Should be a wild show. Tickets, info, everything else, go to MasonicCleveland.com. This pair here for caller 10. Good luck. Asking Alexandria and The Who. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
Did you miss us? 'Cause we missed you. Well, not Jerry from Willoughby, but the rest of you.
The Alan Cox Show.
On 100.7 WMMS.
We got hot celebrity goss in minutes here, courtesy of Perez Bilton. Boy, there's a lot of it that happened over the holiday weekend. The Guardians play tonight. We'll dip out a couple of minutes early. 6:10 is your first pitch. Tonight it's the second of 3 against the Twins here at home. You're starting to see the fans descend on downtown Cleveland, getting ready for the game. So we will take you up to first pitch tonight. Guardians hoping for a much better result than last night's 20-6 loss to the Twins. But they're always consistently jockeying for position, by the way, between the Minnesota Twins. That AL Central, boy, it is, it's a barn burner. Guardians are still creeping up on 70 wins. Creeping up. And who's the best team in baseball right now? The Atlanta Braves, which is not, they're creeping up on 100 wins. They're killing it. Twins, tops in our division, it's 72 wins. My Chicago White Sox holding steady at 53-85. So what are you going to do? You're going to root for your Cleveland Guardians. On your FM home for Cleveland Guardians baseball, there is still a lot of baseball to be played. Really? There's a few more weeks of regular season play, right?
Yeah.
When's the end of the regular season? Like end of the month?
End of September, yeah.
End of September. Will the Guardians be playing October ball?
Unlikely.
I'm sorry, Bill, that is incorrect. They are going to win the World Series this season.
That'd be great. I would love that.
The Cleveland Guardians.
What a run they would go on.
Be amazing. Amazing. Alan, I had a bunch of kids discover in elementary school that I wasn't wearing underwear while sitting crisscross applesauce. A bunch of girls kept walking over and giving me long stares. I assume that's a girl, right? You wouldn't notice otherwise of a boy.
No, if you're wearing Umbros. That was a whole thing, man.
Because you're peeking out one of the legs.
Yeah. They banned Umbros in our school because of that. Because the legs were so wide.
Yeah.
And they're pretty short, too. So you just always see, your underoos or whatever. And if you're not wearing any underwear at all, yeah, you're definitely hanging.
Mm-hmm. Alan, I got a detention in kindergarten for comparing superhero underwear with a few other boys. Yeah, I didn't have that.
And that's one of those things where it's like the whole reason we had underoos was so that we could show them to other people.
Is that what it was?
I mean, they were cool.
Yeah.
And they got like decorations on them.
Yeah,
I don't recall having underoos.
They were like superhero or
Yeah.
like cartoon underwear.
Yeah. One time in grade school, the girls' bathroom was out of order, so the girls were allowed to use a secondary boys' bathroom, and a girl in my school became infamous for trying to wash her hands in a urinal because she had never seen one before.
She didn't know.
It's an honest mistake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, this stream clings really closely to the porcelain.
Gotta get right up on there.
But at least they give you bright pink soap at the bottom. Like the dude that called last week. Yeah, I reached right in and took a big bite of the urinal cake and then walked out to my dad very, very proudly. And blah, blah, blah.
On the topic of metal detectors not working, I went to the Guardians game when that J-Ram and Tim Anderson fight happened, and before the game I walked through the metal detector, didn't set it off. Well, I thought that's weird. I'm wearing a belt buckle made of steel half the size of Texas. Didn't go off. It goes off at the airport. It'll go off at the Romo Fijo when I go to a Cavs game. But this time, not so much. And I got to think that those sporting event metal detectors don't work 3/4 of the time, and they are just there for show.
Wow.
Just a thought. Love me, love you, hate the show. Bye.
Love me, love you, hate
sir,
the show.
I'm sorry.
So
You've
good.
got a belt buckle half the size of Texas on. If you could just come over here and... Yeah, no, I don't know. We were talking about metal detectors when I had jury duty. And how... I mean, obviously, at the place like the Justice Center, they want to really make sure that their metal detectors are working. They don't want anybody getting anything in there that isn't supposed to be there.
Is it the Justice Center or the Just Us Center?
You know what? I like to think of it as Just Us, but they spell it Just Ice.
Oh.
And it makes sense because it was very cold in there. No, the Justice Center. And one of my 2 days coming back from the lunch break, they must have, I don't know if they were running drills on potential police recruits. They had dudes out there in front of the Justice Center, about a dozen of them, doing drills.
Ooh, I missed
so
it.
running, oh, I'll tell you what, if this is the future of the Cleveland Police Department, we are in worse shape than you could have possibly imagined.
Oh, that's
I mean, dudes that are not in shape, boy. And they were huffing and puffing. There were a couple of guys that looked like they were like, you know, ready for battle. But a lot of these dudes huffing and puffing to make it down and back. You know, like you're just doing drills like in high school gym. Now, I don't know if that's what that was, but that's what it looked like. I was reading a thing this morning. The Pentagon says that 77% of potential recruits for the military are too fat, mentally ill, and on drugs to join the military.
77%?
Too fat to fight. Well, no, but this
they can fight drones.
dovetails perfectly into these AI drone wars. Why they're still using humans, I don't know.
But don't you remember when they were like so selective, the military was like, you can't have tattoos past your sleeve or something like that. That is
that's when they
long out the
didn't.
window.
That's when everybody was still chomping on that hook to join the military. Now people are like, no thanks, because we're not in an active conflagration right now.
But what was
77% of people do not qualify for military service without a waiver due to being overweight, drug issues, or
Okay,
mental
but
or physical problems. is
Does
what it
that
says.
mean drug issues, pharmaceuticals, like
Drug and alcohol
antidepressants?
abuse is what it says.
Okay.
Yeah. Between the ages of 17 and 24.
Dude, that's young to have those type of issues.
Well, everyone's fat.
Not everyone's fat.
77% of people are fat.
All
America is so
all the
overweight.
fatties that want
I
to be in
mean,
the Army.
no, they don't qualify. That's what they're saying.
I know.
Being
They
overweight
wanna
was
be.
the highest
But
disqualification.
you can get skinny. Like we're talking obese, or are we talking you're overweight? Like you can.
Well, you're too heavy to
eat some
be.
rotisserie chicken.
You're not in shape enough
you're
to
not in
carry
shape.
somebody
Yeah.
if they get their leg blown off.
Or to carry like a 50-pound pack when you're in basic training. You know, my
Yeah.
nephew just went through Army Basic, and he got stationed over in Germany. He eventually wants to go into like federal law enforcement. Smart dude, but he's surrounded. You know, the brief conversation I had with him when I saw him over the summer, he's like, you wouldn't believe the people that were in my basic class. He goes, so to be not taken is really tough. He's like, there's some, and not just talking washouts, like people who went through basic training with him. And then we're going to be stationed somewhere else.
We should just have them be in a separate army. Like we got the Air Force,
You got the backup.
we got the Army, we got the Navy. We just do we got Navy SEALs. Why not Navy whales?
Bill Squire at Go Bananas in Cincinnati.
I'll leave them
Thursday
right there.
and Friday. He's going to be broadcasting with us last 2 days of the week from iHeartMedia Cincinnati.
Correct.
But Alan, to your point about the military, what was the lure before?
Not my point. The Pentagon's point.
No. I'm saying you said that people were like excited to join the military back in the day. What was the lure back then? The benefits, I don't feel have they changed drastically or no?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I think the benefits actually increased.
I was gonna say anytime
and
I
they had
hear-
a hard, but you still have to qualify. You still have to be like in the kind of shape where you won't endanger one of your servicemen or women colleagues. I mean, there's things that, and again, I don't think the physical training, they've moved the chains back on so many things to get people to join the military over the past 20 years that, and I'm sure active service people will tell you this.
Yeah.
They'll be like, they changed so many things just to try to get people in that if these people still can't get in,
you don't want them.
You don't want to. You can't have them. You have to count on somebody to be able to do, and there are, people that come from military families who maybe are, there's more pressure for them to do that. And so, my dad was a veteran, but I didn't come from like a military family per se. So when my nephew said, after he was one of the only people in his class with a college degree, he's like, he went into the Army after college. And I know my sister-in-law was really trying to talk him out of it because she's like, we don't know what the hell's going to happen. Parents, they pucker up a little bit if their kid goes, I want to go into the military, because you don't know when something's going to blow up. I mean, I remember when I was in college and the Kuwait War blew up and all the rumors about how they were going to start reinstating the draft. I mean, every time that something like that happens, that comes back around. They do it for all of it. But again, a lot of people after 9/11, a lot of civilians joined the military. Yeah, because it was kind of a hoorah thing going on there. But
I mean, how it was pitched to us when I was in high school, the military benefits one, and then they'll pay for your school, and that's how it was. Like, oh, if you don't have any money for school, go to the military and you'll get your school paid for. And then once you get there, you realize ain't nobody got no time for school. You're fighting for your life. So that is what it was pitched to me. So I didn't know if that was still a thing. People are still looking to get their school paid for, their military benefits.
That's still a thing. You can retire at 40 and get full benefits. All right, listen, I want to pivot here to something.
Pivot?
I want to pivot.
Pivot?
To hot celebrity gossip.
Let's do it.
Can we have some?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is Hot Celebrity Gossip with Perez Bilton. Ooh.
What's up, my little goss guppies? Get up on the pool table, put your elbows down, your ass
Oh
up.
my God. I can't. I need to walk out of this room.
Face down, goss up, Mary.
Oh.
Face down, goss up. That's how you get the news. Gary Busey allegedly was involved in a hit and run on the PCH in California. The woman who accused Busey followed him and confronted him. Busey drove away without giving his insurance, just said he's a private citizen and he didn't take any responsibility for it, despite his car being all scuffed up. According to inside sources. Gary Busey has a driver's license, which I don't think that's a good idea. The man can't turn a phrase, so I don't think he should be turning a wheel.
Private citizen? What the hell does that have to do with anything?
I don't know.
All right.
Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet were spotted hugging and kissing at a Beyonce concert. It's the couple's public debut, and they were looking very into each other.
So staged.
According to inside sources.
Inside sources.
Kylie is entering her skeleton face white boy era.
Hey!
And there's a rumor of a sex tape of the two, which I have dubbed Dune It. He's in Dune, Mary. He's in Dune.
I know what he is.
Yeah.
I get it.
And finally, Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner are calling it quits. The couple is headed towards a divorce. Joe was seen this weekend without his wedding ring on. And according to inside sources, the pop star and Game of Thrones actress are only weeks away from making the divorce official. which will be announced by Jimmy Fallon doing a cover of Tammy Wynette's Divorce at a Jonas Brothers concert.
This is Hot Celebrity Gossip with Perez Bilton. Ooh.
Face Down Gossip is incredible.
There you go.
That upset you, Mary?
It didn't upset me.
Hey, look, there's some
sailors
sailor
across the
boats.
street,
I
Poundcake.
see that in the window.
Can
How
you
about
see
that? Is it
Ahoy.
Fleet Week?
I don't think so.
Ahoy.
Do they do that here?
Can they do
Yeah,
that
there's
here? What do you
Fleet
mean?
No, I didn't know that there was a Fleet Week here.
Oh, I think there is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
And it would make sense that it's right after Labor Day.
I'm gonna get on Grinder.
You heard you heard Poundcake when you were doing. He's like, it's so staged. The Timothy Chalamet, Kylie Jenner thing.
It was. They looked right at the camera's on. Okay, kiss me now.
No,
Kiss
no,
me now,
no,
Kindle.
no. They saw. You watched that video. They
They
saw
were
that
making out all night.
after they made out,
Yeah.
God.
and it looked like they were like, let's
But they're front row at a Beyonce concert. They're going to be seen.
understood.
They're both very. He's the. As
And he
Bill
was
says,
popping a couple squares too.
Yeah, he's the
Up
it
there
boy.
smoking.
He's the it boy of Hollywood, and she is freshly off of a new. She's like one of the most famous people in the world. They're gonna be seen.
By the way,
He's promoting his Willy Wonka.
hats
movie.
off to Kylie Jenner. She doesn't have a type.
Well, she's in her skeleton.
Doesn't
face
have a
white
type.
boy
I mean,
era.
Kindle.
she goes from Tyga. What did I say?
You said Kylie. Kylie is the one.
I thought it was Kylie.
I said Kylie, not Kendall. Kendall's the one who's like normal, kind of.
Kendall is the one that he's dating, though.
No, Kylie.
Kylie
Is
is
it
the one.
Kylie?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's with Kylie.
Kendall's the one that did that dumb Pepsi ad a few years ago.
Oh, okay.
Kylie Jenner, the one who looks,
Kylie.
the one
Yeah,
who looks
the
nothing
model.
like she. Yeah, right.
Yeah, the one that.
She goes from Tyga to Timothy Chalamet. God bless her.
No, yeah.
Yes.
Stop.
Kylie
He knows his
Jenner.
goss.
Didn't you listen to Perez Bilton?
No.
Didn't you listen to his
I
inside
have
sources?
never listened to Perez Bilton.
Face down gossip, man.
Yes,
a lot
I
of
tuned
hair.
out after that.
That's a lot of hair for one couple. I don't like it.
He doesn't like it. All right, you're on record. I've got to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
and Whiskey Studios.
The Buzzard. The home of the Buzzard. The Buzzard. This is 100.7 WMMS.
Cleveland. Call the Alan Cox Show.
Idiot. Stupid moron.
216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
Why can't you say you talk to me? You're already thinking about someone else. When it comes home, your bed is on and I'll be gone. But I know my day will come.
Poundcake, who do you think this is? You'll never get it, but who do you think it is?
Smashing Pumpkins.
Try again.
It's not Smash Mouth. It's not a tribute to them.
A tribute to Smash Mouth, a band called The Descendants.
Oh,
You guys aren't going to know them, but if you were into OG punk, you'd know who they were. I think their drummer is their last original member, but they have influenced every modern punk band you like. They were part of that LA hardcore punk scene in the late 70s in LA, and they still go out and tour. And they were going to be part of this punk festival called the 1, 2, 3, 4 Fest. And they canceled it at the last minute. And so people are trying to figure out why that is.
The whole festival or this
The
band
whole
canceled?
festival. It was The Descendants. It was Rise Against, Mary's favorite.
Whoop, whoop.
Rancid and Jawbreaker and all. It was going to be like this, you know, the inaugural punk festival here in the U.S. So it was going to happen in Denver and Philly. Denver was this weekend. Philly was going to happen the weekend of the 23rd. And they just put out a statement saying that the promoters canceled due to circumstances beyond their control, which I always read as we didn't sell nearly as many tickets as we thought we were going to. We thought that all the old punks would come out and try to relive the glory days. Pussy Riot was going to be on this thing. You know, those girls are looking for any reason to get out. Dillinger 4, Rancid, Jawbreaker, Descendants. Descendants still tour. They're over opening for Japanese bands or something in Asia. And they said this festival is not going to be 200 bands on 10 stages. And no rock star BS. But they have had to cancel it. So listen, maybe you're one of our bureau chiefs in Philly or Denver, and you were going to go to this all-day punk fest. It has been canceled. That'll be a bummer. Why don't you come to Cleveland, Ohio, and do it? You know, Cleveland has a rich history with punk rock. Might not realize it, but no shortage of punk bands came out of Cleveland, Ohio. Dead Boys, chief among them, I think. Rocket from the Tombs, a lot of good bands. Bring a punk festival to Cleveland, Ohio. Now, sure, Poundcake's favorite punk band, who?
Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco.
Second best Paramore.
Paramore and Panic at the Disco. You know, just because they start with P doesn't make them punk.
Yes, it does.
Is that what jammed you up? Okay. Bring it here. Somebody do it here. You put Devo on it, right? I don't know if people consider Devo a punk band. I certainly do. Anti-Flag broke up. They were regional. They're a Pittsburgh band, of course. But I think they broke up overnight because there's some forthcoming allegations against their singer. So that's one of those, all right, board up all the windows. Get the hell out of here. But try it here. You know, back in the day when all those bands were playing the dive bars, they weren't generating a lot of interest from record labels, but there weren't many record labels for punk bands to play for. But the people who know those bands love them. Try it here. In the meantime, the 1, 2, 3, 4 Fest is not going to happen. I'd love to know why, though. Anytime something gets canceled and they go, circumstances beyond our control. Because if you have enough tickets sold, there are no circumstances beyond your control, right? You ever notice how many punk bands have the in their name? Somebody asks. No. I haven't.
The Rancid.
Yeah. And why not the? You know, I mean, there was a band called The. They thought they were being all cute. The. They were a British punk band. No, not Thes.
That would be
The.
stupid. That would be stupid, Cody.
The. They were out the same time the Descendants were.
The Lady Mama Lie.
Yeah. But I don't know if those guys are still around. But again, these are bands with, like, if they have one original member, they're old dudes. That's what these festivals are for. But a band like the Descendants, who every current punk band you like will say, oh, we formed a band because of the Descendants. Blink-182 and MXPX and NoFX, other bands with X, Pennywise and Green Day, they will all say, yeah, the Descendants. That's why we started playing punk rock. And they're still out there doing stuff.
It's just amazing how many...
It is, isn't it?
Well, it's just amazing how many bands there are, and some you just never heard of, but they've been around forever.
Well, what's amazing to me and what I really like is a band that you and I have never heard of. And I mean even prior to social media, where it was a lot easier to generate an audience, was when bands that, A, you don't even know they're still around, but they come to town and they can sell out.
That's what I'm
you go,
talking
wow,
about.
there's
It's
a lot of
crazy.
people here who love what you consider to be kind of an esoteric band. There's a lot of people where that's their favorite band.
I was going to say, if it's not mainstream...
And that's a great thing.
If it's not mainstream, is it automatically underground then?
I don't even know what mainstream means anymore, quite frankly.
Because there's like a market for some, like, oh, if they get played on there, if they get played on the radio, they're mainstream. And so there's some bands, there's a guy I went to high school with, and it kind of annoyed me because once a band went, quote, mainstream, he didn't like them anymore. So it wasn't, his thing was bands that weren't discovered or like on their come up, and then once they
He wanted to be the cool guy that knew
once
all
they
the
got their
unknown
big break,
bands.
Yeah, but I think
he didn't like them.
I think that's gone away because it kind of had to. Like,
well, it was never great anyway. Like, it was never like everyone was doing. There's a lot of people that'd be like, you took pride in knowing them before they got famous, but then when they got famous, you felt like now you have to share them with people that are like didn't appreciate them. You're like, yeah, I already told you guys they were good and you didn't trust me. But then they got on TRL.
Well, yeah, but that's all an ego thing for the person. That's an ego thing for you or me or whatever. I never minded. I was always happy when people found the bands I was telling them about. I was always very happy. I'm like, great, more people are into this band I like.
We still haven't though.
What's that?
On this show.
You haven't what?
We haven't found the bands that you tell us about.
Oh, well, no,
Like,
but I mean, that's fine. But you find a fellow throbbing Gristle fan, and you can sit there and talk to him about what's going on.
Mary would probably like them.
No.
Of course she would. Genesis Peorage? Come on.
I don't want to hear about Porge.
Okay.
I was
No, listen, but mainstream, by the way, people knock bands like Nickelback, and they're
Great
very
show.
rich. They're
Great
like
show.
Jimmy Buffett, okay? He was never cool. He's a billionaire as of this year. He's like, haha, whatever. I mean, those guys aren't worried about being cool because they were never cool. Because cool is such a fleeting thing. You never know when you have it, and you never know when you lost it. So street cred is kind of a thing. I feel like it's gone away because everything is so fragmented. Everybody's grasping at whatever they can grab to get heard or seen or paid or whatever. So a lot of that mainstream versus whatever. There's still people who pride themselves on being underground, but I think by the time you're 45 and you're either living with a roommate or doing all your gigs in your van, unless that's the life you've committed yourself to. And there's nobility in that too. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being mainstream. I don't think there's anything wrong. If you were in a band, you would want as many people. I don't have a band anymore, right? This show, I want as many people listening to this show as possible.
Because we're mainstream, baby.
Whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. I don't want people ever turning this radio station off. Ever. So people, well, it's not as good as it used to be. Okay. You're right. But I wasn't here then.
But think of how bad it's going to get in 10 years. So you might as well listen now. So you can say in 2023 it's actually not too bad compared to what it is in 2033.
Better when Alan Cox is doing afternoons.
Yeah.
I mean, when AI is doing it in 10 years.
Happy 8-year Poundiversary, guys.
Shut up. No, congrats, man. That's great.
Happy birthday.
You didn't vote.
Oh, your birthday's like this week.
Friday.
Yes.
I meant happy radio birthday,
I
but
was gonna
also
say,
real birthday.
Yeah, Poundiversary. It was all around the same time.
Oh, your birthday's Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't gonna make.
You're going to be 31, homie.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is not a eventful birthday, so I didn't even.
No, this past Friday was Poundcake's 8th anniversary on the Alan Cox Show, and I'll tell you what, not that any of us remembered, but we couldn't be more pleased. And I think it's his 4th or 5th anniversary as co-host of the Weekend Cox.
Something like that, yeah.
That he is not allowed to do alone.
No, it's not as big as deal.
It's not as big of a deal.
I actually, it was kind of crowded in the beginning because I would much rather Bill and Erica do it when they were doing it because I would squeeze in there and we were in the fart box and it was just, I don't know. I would just.
You did it in the fart box.
Yeah.
You did it in your news booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our news booth.
I know, but I'm just saying it was very cramped in there when we used to do it.
So what
Big
you're
ones,
saying is
small
you're
ones,
glad.
skinny ones, tall ones, brown ones, black ones, round ones, fat ones.
What did you say?
I'm just trying to figure out what he's trying to say here.
Oh, nothing. Now that it's just two of us, we each get a mic, so it's fine. Before it was
Wait, all three of you used to do the Weekend Cox?
back in the day.
You and Erica and Bill?
Uh-huh.
We'd
Why
have
was
him
that?
on like one or two of the things.
Sometimes I would just like hop
because
in.
he would be in there anyway. So
I
he'd be
see.
like, right?
They'd be like, right, Poundcake, and I'd be like, right.
Oh my
Just in
God.
the background. That was the early stages of Poundcake, where I was just happy to be on air.
And now what?
And now he's not.
Now I got demands.
Now he's like, I got demands. Listen to this guy.
I got demands.
You know you have to have leverage for demands, right? You know how
No,
demands
you have
work?
to, you have to have leverage to have your demands met.
Yeah,
well,
You
no,
can have demands. Not to say, why? No.
Right.
We would never.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
I got
anyway,
demands.
congratulations.
Thank you.
8 long years on this program. 8 years you have wasted by not leaving. Trust me, I'm happy to have you. Don't get me wrong. But you started this show saying, I want to have my own show by the time I'm 30.
My dreams have changed.
His dreams have changed. I know. What are they now?
I want to go as far as I can with minimum effort.
But that was always your plan, as far as I can with minimum. I think, you know what? You have.
That's what I'm saying.
You have gone as far as you're going to go with your current level of effort.
Well, I don't know.
And you're okay with that? No, you say,
yet.
I don't know. I mean, you've been here for 8 years now on the show, and it's not like you're increasing your effort. So you have gone as far as you're going to go.
We won't know until it's done, until I'm dead.
How will you? Oh, until you're dead.
There might be
wow.
You don't know. Like, oh, wow, he went as far as he could go.
You
with
don't know
minimum
what you don't
effort.
know until you know.
That is true.
So in hindsight, you'll be reading like, well, maybe not you, Alan, but everyone else would be like, wow, he went really far for not trying that hard. You don't know what you don't know until you know it. That should be commended.
No. When has anybody ever been commended for putting in the least amount of effort? That's not commendable. It's lucky. Some
No,
people
I think
consider
it's-
it lucky.
I kinda
Hey,
love it.
look what I did, and I really didn't work that hard to get there. But think of how far you can get when you really do put work into it. That's what I always think. But you and I are cut from two different pieces of cloth, and that's fine. You don't have to do things my way.
He's not.
You really don't. He's not. That's fine.
He's doing as little as he can to get
right.
his
When did your dreams
change.
When did they change from my own show by the time I'm 30 to I want to get as far as I can with minimal effort?
I don't know. Maybe like
I guess the better question
27, 28.
Well, here's the thing. I think the better question is because you've clearly always been a minimal effort. Let's see how far I can go with minimal effort. That's clearly been your vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point did you think that would get you your own show by 30? Why? That's the better question to me is why
As
did
I
you
got-
think that would happen?
As I got closer to 30, maybe like 20, I was like, oh, wow, that's like 24 months from now. And I'm like, I'm waiting for these offers to come rolling in.
Why were you waiting? That's the problem.
Because it was
What-
minimum effort. What do you mean?
So no effort. That's no effort. Waiting is no effort. Minimal effort is like, well, I knocked on a couple of doors, but then I stopped.
One
Right.
tape.
Minimal waiting is no effort. I guess that is minimal. Zero. You can't get more minimal. You
Than
can't
zero,
do
yeah.
negative energy on it.
Can't do less than nothing.
But he will try. He'll
I
try.
mean, 0 is actually a speed.
Did you
can still-
really
0 miles per hour.
Did you really think that you were going to get offers being the phone screen on the show to have your own show?
Oh, no. I got offers. It's kind of funny. Before I actually got on the show, I got offers to go somewhere else, and I didn't go.
Where?
It was, well, no, I don't want to say.
Why? You didn't take the job.
It's 8 years. You're well within your rights to
you're
talk
okay.
about it.
I think the
yeah.
I think your NDA is expired.
It wasn't really, I mean, it was, no, I don't want to talk about
You're lying, aren't you? You're making it up.
No, I'm not.
You got an offer to go. Before you even here, you got an offer to go where?
It was before I was hired on.
You got when you were still an intern,
Mhm.
somebody heard you and said, "We'd really like to hire you."
Yeah.
And you said, "No."
No, because I had.
Where did you want to be? Where were they? Where wanted to hire you?
Well, I don't want to say.
Is it a local radio station?
Yeah.
Why don't you want to say?
Because I don't want to say.
Well, now you've piqued our collective interest.
Well,
we want to know.
I'll put it in the group chat, but I'm not gonna.
Why won't you just say it on the
Put it in the
air?
group chat, and I'll say it on the
years
air.
ago.
No, I don't want to say.
All right. I think you're making it up.
Put it in the group
I
chat.
think you're lying,
Group chat it.
and then I'll say it.
No,
Take the pressure off yourself.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay. Well, then don't put it. I don't want to know if you're not going to say it on the air.
Okay.
So let's just go with
And this
that.
is why he's not going to get his own show.
Let's go with that being true. Why did you turn it down?
Because I felt like this was
A paid gig, and you turned it down.
because I felt like this was a bigger audience.
That's not the point. This is a much bigger audience, but you would have gone from an internship to a paid gig. That's the point of anybody in this business. You had a line of every intern that preceded you would have jumped at that.
And I didn't know how reliable it was because it wasn't like on paper. It was like talking to someone.
Well, then that's not an offer. That's a conversation about somebody going, "Hey, was it an internet radio station?"
No.
It was a terrestrial commercial radio station
Yes.
in this market
Around this market.
that said, "Hey, what day part did they want you to do?"
It didn't even get that far.
So it wasn't an offer, is my point.
Okay.
This was a conversation
This
you
was
had.
an
If somebody said,
interest.
"Hey, we like the cut of your jib. Would you ever think about coming over here?" Was that the extent of the conversation?
Yes.
Okay. They said, "Would you ever consider coming over here?" And you said,
Nah, then I have to drive. I can't drive to work.
Well,
"Well, he was driving to work every day."
It would have made things really inconvenient had I taken that job.
You didn't even have to move. It was a job in the market, and that was too inconvenient.
At that
Like
point,
I had to pack my crap and move 4 or 5 times over the course of my career. You were like, too inconvenient.
at that time.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining.
I was probably too immature.
I think
to
you're a
take that
delight.
job.
I'm just curious. What's that?
I say I was probably too immature at the time to take that job. But
Well, but they didn't think so.
And they wanted it to be your own show.
it wasn't a show. It was a DJ gig.
Like a day part.
But that's your show. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
But it
your
would have
show.
been you.
Yes, correct. I just front selling and back selling songs.
Format.
Breaks. Yeah.
What's the format?
It
What-
was.
Hmm?
It
Top
was
40 or
yeah, it was
rock
top
or-
40.
Was it an iHeart gig?
No.
Was it Q104?
No.
Star 102?
No.
There aren't other top 40s. Those aren't even top 40.
98? What is
No.
it? 98? What's
Classic rock?
I didn't say it was this market. I
No,
said it was
what's the
around-
one in
I said it was
Akron?
around this market.
KDD.
No, that's
That's
this.
Oh, that's iHeart.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
this market.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway. Point is,
I don't know why you don't want to just say what.
No, because I don't want to.
because here's what it is.
Door might still be open.
No, that's great.
Oh.
If they hear, he doesn't want to make them feel bad. by not going. Someone who's lying awake nights, kicking themselves. That they
I almost
didn't-
had Poundcake.
that they didn't work harder. But he wasn't Poundcake yet. He was still DJ Cobra. They were listening to DJ Cobra and going, that's a guy, I want him snake biting my radio station. I want him out there striking. All right, well, there you go. Do you regret that decision?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, I certainly don't want to keep you
Do
from
we
following
regret
your-
that decision?
No, of course not. I would never want to keep anybody from following their bliss. There's been a lot of, this show's been a revolving door, with me being the only constant, but that's the way it's supposed to be if you're going to have other people on a program. I was just curious. But he's here. Happy 8-year anniversary, Poundcake, on the Alan Cox Show.
Thank you.
I've got to take a break here. If you want to send a text, 35192, you can watch live at alancoxshow.com, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
Everywhere on our
sounded so good.
All right, you want to go see comedian Chris Tucker. He is doing his first tour in some time. He's calling it the Legend Tour 2023. Why not? It's going to happen down the road here, State Theater at Playhouse Square on Thursday night, October the 12th. Tickets are on sale at livenation.com. The return of Chris Tucker. Will you understand the words that are coming out of his mouth? I bet you will. Caller 10, these are yours. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
What feels great to do is absolutely free, can be done by yourself, and yet no one ever mentions it.
It's the Alan Cox Show
on the Buzzard.
WMMS.
$35192. Want to send a text? AlanCoxShow.com. You can watch live. We roll a couple of minutes early tonight. Your Guardians game gets going around 6:10. So we will get you up to first pitch. It is the middle game in the three-game series against the Minnesota Twins. Guardians did not do well last night. It was a 20-6 final last night. So game 2 is tonight, 6:10. Guardians Twins on MMS. I still have trips to Vegas for you all this week, by the way, as well. So keep that in mind. Last week for you to put yourself in Vegas in a couple of weeks, the iHeartRadio Music Festival is the 22nd and 23rd. Everything should be dry by then. They do it at the T-Mobile Arena. A lot of Rock and Roll Hall of Famers on the bill this year, which is not always the case. Foo Fighters, Public Enemy, Sheryl Crow, Lenny Kravitz, Fall Out Boy, 30 Seconds to Mars, and many more. In the midst of a bunch of pop acts and country acts, and they really cut a broad swath there with that festival. So we'll fly you out, put you up, throw you $1,000 to spend however you want. So 5:30 on this show all week. Chance to win. Rover's got a shot for you. Stansbury has a trip as well. So be listening for those keywords. That next one here in about 10 minutes for that. I was reading over the weekend, there is a statue at the Cleveland Museum of Art that has been there since 1986. And it got embroiled in litigation saying that it had been looted from the nation of Turkey. And so it's being seized and returned. A headless statue of Marcus Aurelius. If you're a Stoic, if you are a student of Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius is kind of your North Star. Of course, Roman emperor. It's a headless bronze statue that they say is worth $20 million. And it's been at the Cleveland Museum of Art since 1986, over there in the Greek and Roman galleries. You may have seen it. You probably have seen it, even if you weren't quite sure what you were looking at. They were calling it draped male figure on the website now, but a headless statue of Marcus Aurelius. And the Manhattan District Attorney's Office issued a warrant saying that it was part of an ongoing criminal investigation into a smuggling network involving antiquities. It's like a mid-90s Nicolas Cage movie.
Right.
Sean Connery. It's Marcus Aurelius. Looted from Turkey and trafficked through Manhattan. 30 years ago? It's been there since 86.
The turkey job.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
The headless statue, they valued it $20 million and said it was about 1,800 years old. It's going to be transported back to New York this month. Manhattan DA's office has an antiquities trafficking unit. That'd be a fun gig because you're kind of like a modern-day Indiana Jones.
Except it doesn't belong in a museum. Well, not this
it
museum.
Doesn't right, yeah.
Not this museum.
Yep.
That'd
Indiana Jones.
That'd be a good Indiana Jones movie where he's just stealing from museums and putting it back in place.
At other museums?
Well, and like in the country of origin.
Yeah. returning it to the country of Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the traffickers, they said, were based in New York. So they just discover this now, but if the statue has been in Cleveland since 86, these must be some old traffickers. Turkish officials have been telling the Cleveland Museum that the statue had been stolen in the 1960s during a looting spree of an archaeological site in southwest Turkey. The officials said that the museum had ignored them, saying that Turkey couldn't prove it.
They've been ignoring me, too.
The Cleveland Museum of Art has been ignoring you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some of my sculptures in there.
Yeah.
And they are not interested, it seems like.
Now, what are your sculptures? Are these are fired in the kiln? And what are they made? What's your medium?
There's a section of my booger wall from my first apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to, I think that should be, it should probably be in the Louvre, but
what's the name of the piece?
Single and Sad.
Booger Wall?
Booger Wall.
This is just called Booger Wall.
It's just called Booger Wall.
All right.
And then I have another one. It is just stacks of condom wrappers from this weekend. Just made that one.
Are they glued together? Or I guess in a way they are, aren't they?
They're well, no, they didn't do that on the condom wrapper, but like they're used to make like a statue.
You don't put it back in the wrapper when you're done?
No. Down to
you tie it off, put it back in the wrapper.
Not when I'm in my house.
Oh no, you just fling it against a wall. What do you do?
No, I throw it in the garbage can.
In the garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I put it down the.
But you don't
put it down the garbage disposal.
You don't put it back in the wrapper and then in the garbage?
No, I just put it in the garbage.
And so far, the Cleveland Museum of Art has been unresponsive to your. I mean, how do you even submit? How do you say to any museum, hey, I would like to.
I've just been commenting on their Instagram page. That's how I've been submitting.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yo, I got some art you guys want in this museum. I don't know how much you want to pay for it, but it's probably worth a few $100,000 each. I got some of my old leather jackets from when I was skinny.
Uh-huh.
Those
the Skinny Bill collection.
Yeah. They should want that. I'm trying to get like a whole, like, you know, they'll do those like featured artist wings from time to time.
Yeah, of course.
I want that. But nothing.
Well,
Nothing.
listen,
and I know people there.
Yeah,
and
it's
I know you're dodging me, Steph.
It's any museum is loath to return an item because it's been there for so long. And let's face it, most things in most museums were looted from somewhere else.
Right.
So you'd have a wholesale shutting down of every museum that was taken to task. And the only advantage they have is can't prove it. Finders keepers.
Nothing here's looted. Nothing I'm offering is looted. I got a collection of Mary's face when I say gross things on the radio. That's very valuable.
It's pronounced.
Is that in a relief in oils or what is that?
I mean, these
are still shots.
They're still shots.
NFTs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. MFTs. Mary's funny. No. Mary's face torques. There it is. Got it.
We found it.
Nailed it.
Bill
Squire, go bananas in Cincinnati this weekend. So anyway, yeah, the Cleveland Museum of Art making international news for having that statue of Marcus Aurelius that's being seized and sent back to Turkey. And, you know, the only time I ever saw a seizure in a museum, I offered my wallet. Hey, listen, Dick.
What's up?
Dick, your thoughts on this seizure of this 1,800-year-old statue from the Cleveland Museum of Art and being returned to its rightful place in southwest Turkey?
I think it's history being made. I think it's neat.
So you think that you don't mind when something that's been there for a long time gets changed?
No.
Like
no.
the name of a baseball team, for example.
Okay.
Who cares, right? I mean,
team.
yeah, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, they change it.
Who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they were talking about, they found this, I was reading in the paper about this ship. In 1870, found that the lake or something, it was history. It was on CBS News with Nora O'Donnell. I thought that was kind of neat.
Nora O'Donnell, she's still anchoring. She's foxy. She's a real pain in the ass from what I hear over there. But, yeah, she's cute.
Yeah. Hey, I got some funny feeling. If I got to think the Browns are going to win Sunday by 3 points. I really do.
By 3 points?
Yes.
They're playing those Bengals, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was reading, they did some gaming website or some sports-oriented website ranked the most loyal fan bases. And the Bengals were number 1, and the Browns were dead last.
Wow.
For loyalty of fan bases. Of course, in Cincinnati, they say, "Who dey?" Right?
Who dey?
Which, of course, that's a decades-long salute to Partridge Family and L.A. Law actress Susan Day, of course.
Yeah.
But attached
I always
to...
remembered back when who was it? Felix, right? And Hanford Dixon. It was a dog pound back then, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, well, I'm sort of depressed. I don't have music till Thursday this week and Friday, and I'm going to go over in Centerville, my old alma mater. We're going to play at Stubbs Park. It starts at 10 o'clock. It's called Bring Your Instrument. It's called the Pickin' Party from the Dulcimer Club. So I'm going to bring 3 instruments, and we're going to be on, I think we're going to be on TV down here in Dayton on the Channel 7 News. But I'm thrilled. I've been breaking both instruments now, mandolin and uke, and the banjo uke. So
I'll tell you what, the longer, Dick, this is perfect timing for you because the longer that SAG-AFTRA strike continues, they need programming. They have nothing to put on of any interest. And so why not put on the BYOI Dulcimer Club?
Yeah. It's kind of neat. I can say something, Alan and Barry and Bill. I miss Lowe's, but yet my family was from up north, as you know, and I thank them. I got to thank my cousin coming from Medley, showing me that mandolin, and it's I've met so many people. You know what I mean? And it's kind of nice. It's kind of nice, and I ain't going to school, but taking this government class, and they have all teenagers in there don't want to listen. So I'm doing pretty good, guys.
You're in a government class with teenagers who don't want to listen.
Yeah. This was supposed to be a credit for life learning for people from 63 to 70, it's about 70s.
Yeah.
And it's all, I never did, I took a lot of courses in that class, but I never saw anything, the homework. I'm auditing the class that they're giving out. I don't think I could.
Yeah, but Dick, by the time you're your age, you should know what you need to know about the government and civics, right?
Well, some of the terms, I don't understand.
Well, what are the 3 Let's start easy. What are the 3 branches of government?
Federal, legislative, judicial,
what?
And executive. Is that right?
Legislative.
The guy from Lord of the Rings?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations, Dick. But a bunch of teenagers in there who don't. Did they make you watch Schoolhouse Rock?
No, we got it. Hey, what I like, though, they go back to the Constitution, and he asked me, Dick from Dayton, do you know what that means? I said, yes, it's we the people. Okay. Said, who founded the Declaration? And I said, Thomas Jefferson. And he says, and I told him, well, I'm protesting because I think the First Amendment right, freedom of speech should be heard all over America.
Oh, my God.
Agreed?
Dick, do they get mad when you call it the Declaration of Independence?
Yes.
Everybody have Dick tonight.
All right, thank you, Dick. Good luck there with those teenagers. I got to give you a trip here to Vegas. It is for our iHeartRadio Music Festival this week, your last week. Take advantage of one of these keywords. You get them thrice daily. This is your last one today, so listen closely and good luck.
Now, your chance at a trip to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword WIN to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's WIN to 200-200.
Did you see the girl on TikTok who was blowing up? This is a stripper in Nashville. And she's trying to put the word out about the Bachelorette screwing around with dudes at the club. She goes, hey, if this is your fiance. Now, she kind of buries the lead because she just mentions as an aside that the girl doesn't tip. And that's what really made her mad. These girls don't care about anything else. But if you don't tip, always take care of the strippers. Always. This is just at a club somewhere in Nashville. And this girl's back in the locker room, in the changing room going, hey, anybody see this?
No.
People need to mind their own business.
Your bachelorette party in Nashville on the week of August 31st. And has braces, hair about this length with blonde highlights, a cowboy hat with a veil on it.
By the way, she's describing about 4 million bachelorettes in the city of Nashville. So I don't know if you're really going to blow up this girl's spot, but she certainly tried.
A cowboy hat with a veil on it. She is cheating on you. And was just getting fingered by some guy in the strip club. And she also doesn't tip, so you got yourself a winner. She's like 28 or 29. Her dress was like white with like pinkish flowers.
And she was rubbing his through his pants. So.
She was.
They're doing like a full-on breakdown of this lady. Oh, because she doesn't tip. You gotta tip the strip.
I have a question, though. I thought, and this is in my warped mind, this is what I thought growing up.
I can't wait to hear it.
I thought the Bachelor.
Growing up?
Yes. Huh. My entire life I thought this until just now. I thought Bachelor and Bachelorette parties were free passes. It was your It was your last night of freedom, and you're allowed to cheat. And
there's people who treated that. Listen, if you've agreed that, but I can't imagine anybody on the eve of their wedding. No,
I thought that's what it was for. I thought it was for going.
If you have agreed to do that,
it's
sure.
It's like a last hurrah to go get messed up with your friends.
That's right.
But
okay, so if you're at a bachelor party or bachelorette party, and you're one of the girls that are a part of the bachelor party, and the person decides to then cheat. Is it like she's gonna ruin her wedding? I have to say something, or it's her bachelorette party. Just let it fly.
These girls are mad because she didn't tip. It's that simple. Okay. So they're blowing her up left and right. Like, hey, if this is your girl,
like pinkish flowers,
and she was rubbing his through his pants. So
she was, and then they left together. So good luck with your divorce. I hope you have a good prenup.
So those are the strippers backstage. Hey, if your girl is here in Nashville, again, there's 4,000 bachelorette
But that's the thing is that they
going
just
on in Nashville.
They just started problems in 50 different relationships.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I swear it wasn't me. This is the exact outfit.
Yeah, you had this outfit on.
They pulled the pin and threw it onto the internet. No, listen, I had my first marriage. Mm-hmm. I had a bachelor party thrown for me by a couple of guys I knew. And then a bunch of their friends I didn't know. And it turned out these were all guys dying to have a night out with strippers. And so it was nice, but that's not like my vibe. So I knew dudes at that bachelor party. And first time I got married, I was 27. They were a good 20 years older than me. This was just an excuse to tell their wife, hey, going out. Alan's getting married. And this was like weeks before we moved to Pittsburgh. So it was kind of like a hurrah, whatever.
It was like a farewell party as well.
Kind of. And there were dudes in the bathroom with the strippers and things like that.
I thought that's what...
I end up going home with like glitter on my face because the girls are all up on you. But I didn't care. And my wife, ex-wife, she didn't care. She's like, I get it. She
Like,
knew.
just keep
She
them out
knew
your emails.
She knew the guys, but also it was kind of like that's just not my vibe. When Gwen and I were getting married, we had a joint party. We rented a party bus, had all of our friends come out with us, and it was a blast. But the whole like, we went to a strip club and I banged a stripper.
Yeah,
and
that's
like
what I thought it was.
these dudes, these married dudes I knew who were in the bathroom with these strippers, and there was like coke. And I'm like, man, this is just not, But they were all having a great time. But it was like older guys, like cigars, and it was like they were getting married. I'm like, thanks, guys.
See, I watched too many
leaving
BET movies growing up. Like, I watched The Players Club and all these other
Yeah,
movies.
this is not an uncommon thing. And girls and guys do it. There's bachelor. Nobody's cornered the market on screwing around at their bachelor or bachelorette party.
That was their
but
free pass. So
if you have, some people go, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what happened. Right. But somebody needs to tell you that.
Poundcake, would you do it respectfully? What's a respectful way to cheat at a bachelor party?
Oh, no, if it's my bachelor party, then that itself is respectful. Like, hey, this is my situation where I'm allowed to cheat because it's my bachelor party. And worst case scenario, like, if he doesn't trust me, then we can have a joint bachelor party, and then I'll have a secret bachelor party respectfully.
That is respectful to keep it secret.
Yeah, but I'm like, sure, we could have a joint bachelor party, bae. Invite your friends and your family, and we'll have a nice little party. And then I'm like, he's smothering me.
Well, listen. Hopefully, you will get to know. Hopefully, you'll have your own bachelor party. I've got some breaking news, by the way.
Cox Show! Exclusive news update!
Terry Francona has said it's time.
He's stepping away
to retire from his career.
Cody.
Poundcake, you're up the bat.
Major League Baseball skipper.
At the end of this season or next season?
This afternoon.
Oh, he's done right now.
No. This afternoon, he made the comment, it's time.
But he didn't say I'm done after this
My body
season.
is telling me that. My head is telling me that. I've been pretty clear with the guys I work for, and I told them to start preparing because it's time. So that's what he is saying. I have to imagine it would be after the season's almost over.
Yeah, might as well
Right,
finish.
but I didn't know if he was going to do another year.
No,
He just like left like right now, like, no, I'm going home.
I would imagine
right,
there'd be
I'm
like an official announcement in the summer or at the end of the season. I mean, Terry Francona has, for all intents and purposes, been the manager of the Cleveland baseball my entire time here. I mean, we had Manny Acta for a cup of coffee when I first came to Cleveland, but, Terry Francona, who's only done this show one time, and that's when he was plugging a book. But he couldn't have been nicer. And quite frankly, right back here, the man makes a hell of a pie. So, he has given of himself because he was a big, big deal with the Red Sox, too. Got him the World Series, I think.
He won a couple of World Series with them.
Yeah.
He was the manager that ended their streak.
That's right. So, yeah, if he decides that's it, who's the second in command over there? They'd probably hire someone
There's like
else,
Sandy
right?
Alomar Jr.'s a guy over
okay.
there.
But who's the guy who filled in for him when he was in the hospital? Some dude I'd never heard of.
I thought it was Sandy.
All right. It wasn't Sandy. It was like Darius McFarland or something like that.
I don't think it was that.
This is not a guy over there named Darius McFarland. Darius Rucker. Is that a guy with the Cleveland Guardians?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I only want to pitch to you.
Bill Squire at Go Bananas in Cincinnati. Thursday and Friday nights. Is it through the weekend or Thursday and Friday night?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Thursday, Friday, 4 nights.
I'm driving back Sunday night.
All right.
So I want to sleep in my bed.
I got a break here. We're going to dip a little bit early because your Guardians game starts up at 6:10. So we'll get you right into first pitch. Briefly, if you want to send a text for something, 35192. Of course, you can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The best Thursday of the year is coming up, and it's all about NFL opening night. Football is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is hooking new customers up with a can't-miss offer to celebrate. Place your first $5 NFL bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app to see what you get. Don't wait till kickoff to get in on the hype. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BUZZARD. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's code BUZZARD, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Physically present in Ohio. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right. Find an agent at shelterinsurance.com to get started. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Hey, it's Alan. Back to school means new beginnings, and your car can help provide the same for young kids all around the country. So if you're ready to turn your old car into something amazing, hit up Cars for Kids to donate that unwanted vehicle. CarsForKids.org or call 1-877-CARS, the number 4, KIDS today. Cars for Kids will handle everything from the towing to the paperwork. You get a nice tax deduction and a 2-night hotel stay. It's hassle-free, and it goes a long way into helping kids thrive in their education. 1-877-CARS-4-KIDS or go to cars, the number 4, kids.org to donate your car today.
At Diamonds Direct, nobody tells our story better than our own associates.
I hear from customers that come in how shocked they are. They're able to, only with Diamonds Direct, afford a diamond that they never in their wildest dreams thought they'd be able to get.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
We have exponentially more to choose from. The resources that we have all the way from our wholesale roots, really untouchable.
When you come here to Diamonds Direct, you know it's something special. You know it's something that is one of a kind, and you got that at such a phenomenal value.
To be a jeweler and have this kind of firepower, we have all these mountings, all this selection, all these diamonds, and incredible prices is just unmatched.
And I think our customers appreciate that we are so open and honest about every part of this process.
What they're surprised by is the extent that we go to provide an unparalleled, luxurious shopping experience.
This company has a 60-year heritage in diamond cutting, diamond mining, diamond wholesaling. So there's no possible way to get any closer to the source than with Diamonds Direct.
We won't be undersold.
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. DiamondsDirect.com.
Giant Eagle, Get Go, and Market District have locked in prices on more than 1,000 items across the store. And with every trip, you can earn My Perks good for free gas and groceries. Check out all the products on Price Lock at Giant Eagle, Get Go, and Market District.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy? It's Planet Fitness. Now through September 13th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. Join the judgment-free zone today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Planet Fitness is a proud partner of the Cleveland Guardians.
See Home Club for details.
At Metro by T-Mobile, there's nada yada yada. That means no contracts, no price hikes, and no surprises. We don't even hide what the lawyers make us say. We put it first. When we say no price hikes, we mean when you join Metro, your price will never increase for talk, text, and smartphone data. Our only exclusions are for limited time promos, free use charges, and third-party services. Nada yada, nada yada yada, nada yada, nada yada yada. Nada yada yada means wireless without the gotcha. Only at Metro.
Hey there, it's Alan for QC Kinetics. If you are somebody who wishes that your body felt the way it did 5, 10, 15 years ago, it is not exaggeration to say that QC Kinetics can get you back there. If you've got chronic joint pain, right? For a lot of people, it's their knees, maybe your shoulder. You can have that feeling much, much better without drugs, without surgery, best of all, without downtime. QC Kinetics, they're the leaders in advanced regenerative medicine. Quite simply, that means that your own body's concentrated healing properties, they will take those, put them right where your pain is the most acute. And the patient satisfaction reports are astonishing, which means it's a real alternative to all of those old ways of dealing with whatever pain you've got. And like I said, there's no surgery, there's no drugs, so you've got no downtime in your pursuit of feeling the way you used to feel. Call QC Kinetics, 216-770-5488. Talk to their medical professionals. Get you a free consult. They are in Beechwood. They're in Westlake. They're in Independence. And QC Kinetics can get you back to the way you used to feel, pain-free. 216-770-5488. 216-770-5488 for QC Kinetics. 216-770-5488.
This is The Buzzard.
From the Barrio Tacos Tequila and Whiskey Studios.
The Buzzard.
The home of the Buzzard.
Buzzard. This is 100.7 WMMS. Cleveland.
Call the Alan Cox Show.
Before making a joke, say, uh-oh, here comes a little whoopsie from my giggle hole.
216-578-1007 or 1-800-348-1007.
Turn you over to Guardians baseball in about 10-15 minutes. Start up tonight, second at 3 against the Twins at 6:10. Around the corner here. I don't yet have a code for you for Saley Clothing Company for September. You know, holiday weekend, gone for a few days. Everybody's got to kind of catch up. As soon as I have that, pass it along to you. Oh, hey, listen, if we talked about this a while ago and we kind of goofed on it. I half thought it was fake, but it's not fake. It's a company that made a chastity cage for your wiener. This is a thing, I guess, for, could have used this at a bachelor party or something. Remember we talked about this some time ago. It might have even been a couple of years ago about a smart chastity cage. Now, there are some people who probably use something like this for whatever their kink might be. But as with anything in the Internet of Things, once you've got data involved, you can have a data breach. And so the company that makes this cage for your dong, it's locked so you can't use it, but can be controlled by your partner, they had a big old data breach. Oh, no. And so, you know, we're so used to data breaches now that I don't know that people really paid that close attention to them. They go, hopefully I'll get an email to that effect telling me, hey, and obviously they all try to downplay it. They go, none of your sensitive information was leaked. But it's like, well, nobody's trying to breach companies to get non-sensitive information. But this company got hacked. And so, again, I don't know how many of these they've sold. But imagine you've purchased one of these and didn't want anybody to know. And now you're worried because you're thinking that all of your stuff is out there. Your email address, your IP address, your GPS coordinates. You don't want a stranger to know where your locked up dong has been. The researcher, who asked to remain anonymous, said that he had gained access to a database with over 10,000 users because of vulnerabilities in their security protocols. And he said, but the company didn't do anything yet. He's only acknowledging that this company has been the victim of a data breach. Everything is just too easy to exploit. You know, my son is going to be working in cybersecurity. And he's like, people have no idea how insecure most systems are. He's like, there's full-on big companies where people are still using like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as their password and things like that.
Right. Or just password.
What's your password? Password is my password. So this guy who found the vulnerabilities in their system said that he repeatedly wasn't getting any response from the company, and he wanted to let them know. And so he really tried to get their attention by defacing their homepage and hoping that they would follow him back through his code. And they didn't do it. So he's like, I just want to let people know that the people, maybe you've bought one of these chastity cages because you can link it to your Android. They don't have an iPhone app for this, which seems like you're cutting out a huge part of your market share, really.
Well, that's because I'm guessing
Open
Apple,
source over on Android.
Yeah, Apple doesn't allow it.
They don't put it on their
They
app
don't
store.
want that.
Yeah. But imagine.
They don't want those cucks on using iPhones.
Because your partner could be anywhere in the world and know if you've, jimmied off your Jimmy cage.
Right.
So, maybe, again, with the lack of response from this company. If you've purchased one of these, it's not like they're going to tell you. So you're finding out from this guy. So now I'm telling you. Bill could have used that this past weekend, somebody said.
He would not have.
He would not. He had to create his pile of rubber wrappers to try to submit them to the Cleveland Museum of Art. They've now got a big, dusty, sun-baked shadow circle where that Marcus Aurelius statue used to be. They need to put something in its place. They need something of equal historical value. 1,800 years old? No. But flash forward 1,800 years, and people at the Cleveland Museum of Art will be looking at the Bill Squire pile of rubber wrappers and the Bill Squire booger wall, where there'll be a photo of you with it as a certificate of authenticity. That's pretty much required.
I mean, they'll have that, but they're not going to display it next to it. That's gauche.
Not right next to it.
Yeah.
Alan, Trucker John, King of I-71. Bill, if you're going to Jungle Gyms, bring a cooler. You're definitely going to want to bring a cooler.
Why? He doesn't say why. Why? Bring a cooler?
Probably because if I'm going to get anything from there, my guess is I'm going to bring a cooler anyway.
This is on the way to Cincinnati, Jungle Gyms?
It's in Cincinnati, so I'll probably go on Sunday, and if I get anything, I'm going to bring it home. So it's probably good to have a cooler so I can transport it back home without it spoiling.
Like the guy who works at the casino?
No.
Like Alec Baldwin?
No.
Oh.
No. Like something that keeps stuff cold. You put ice in it.
Not a guy who gets out there when the tables are hot and kind of starts to glower over a big winner. I see. Thought this guy's going to be riding shotgun with you. Oh, he means like an igloo container. Huh.
Yes.
All right.
Which I have one.
You do have one.
And it's funny because mine's got like a little button you press on the top to open it. But every time someone goes and tries to use it, they're always looking on the side. And I'm always just like, it's on the top. But like, there's always a good like 10, 15 seconds where they're just like trying to like jimmy it open. I'm like, don't just shake it.
The one that we have is, Brian's very proud of the fact that it is bear proof. So it is not easy to get into. There's like these really, they're like really difficult to pull rubber pieces that then snap into place. And then you have to like pull it over a latch. And
do you ever go camping?
No, we take this to like the pool.
Is there a lot of grizzly activity at the Berea City Pool?
There is not.
So what's the point of it being bear proof?
That I just think it was
if
a
we
selling
ever
point
do
for
go
him.
camping.
That it's like, this is super durable and really, can withstand a lot of clawing. I don't know, man. But I get really frustrated because he'll get aggravated with me when I don't close it all the way. Like, I'll go in there, grab a drink, and then just shut the top without latching it all together. You gotta shut it. It's not gonna work. There's no point in having a cooler if you're gonna leave it open. I'm like, I'm not doing all this. Every time that I want to grab a drink or a piece of fruit,
See,
I'm not
he
doing
knows,
this.
but he knows how you attract animals, and he doesn't want grizzlies He doesn't want grizzlies showing up. Where's the cooler go when you're not at the pool? The garage?
The garage.
In the basement?
We don't have a basement.
Well, then in the garage.
Yes.
He doesn't want bears breaking into the garage. I understand that.
That's where he keeps his car.
Our cooler's got speakers in it.
Oh, that's
And that's bear proof too, because if you're playing music.
Do you charge the cooler?
If you're playing music that the bear doesn't like.
What kind of music do bears dislike?
According to my wife, Steely Dan.
A bear's least favorite music.
Yeah. We were driving back yesterday from Michigan and listening to Margaritaville radio because she likes Jimmy Buffett. I said, why isn't there a Steely Dan channel? And without missing a beat, she said, too much liability from people falling asleep behind the wheel.
Man.
And I said, you son of a bitch. Amen. So, Okay, so you've got a bear-proof cooler. Mm-hmm. It sounds like Bill's is bear-proof, too.
It's just girl-proof.
Only women can't open it?
They seem to be the ones that struggle with it the most.
Because they're stupid, Alan. Our brains are smaller. Get it?
Yeah, they're just looking.
Is that what he's saying?
I'm just saying, like, in my experience, I didn't say they're stupid. Mary's projecting. It seems like she.
Wow.
Women don't like women. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I thought the sisters were doing it for themselves. I thought that they were all supporting each other.
We're trying. We're tired.
Okay.
We need a nap.
We need a nap.
As a community.
I need a nap. You should be fine.
Stop it. We get it. You had sex.
It wasn't even just the sex.
My God.
It's the lots
I
of
know.
stuff.
He acts like nobody ever has sex.
Right. Yeah,
What are you, 16?
On the pool table.
I had sex, guys, over the weekend.
A lot of it. Condom wrappers.
We're very happy.
Good for you.
We're
Good
pleased.
times. I'm surprised by it.
A
That's all I'm
happy
saying.
Bill is a happy Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Who doesn't want that? All right, we got to go. You're going to be in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, Go Bananas Comedy Club this Thursday through Sunday. Get
Now, will
tickets.
you be having sex in Cincinnati?
At the club?
At the club?
probably
Do they
not.
have do they have a pool table there?
Probably not with Joe Briggs, no. But
No, it's a long weekend.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You never know. You never know. And then check out the Bill Squire Show podcast.
Mary Lynn?
I am out tomorrow because I have to take Brian to the oral surgeon. So if you guys want to see videos of Brian all looped up on medication, follow me at Mary Santora Comedy.
Poundcake?
Radio Could It Be, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Is there a sports break tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's. I'm sorry, I'm so backed up. Or not.
He's
physically
backed up.
but
Yeah,
like,
I understand.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's a Monday. Yeah.
When do we
sports
find out if you won Best Sports Talker?
September 21st.
I was going to say.
The 21st?
I don't know why they wait so long.
2 weeks from Thursday. Well, they want to make sure that all the votes are counted. They want to make sure that no one has tried to remove the voting machines.
I want to see the Electoral College.
That's right.
They do like a whole article. Like they'll do like a whole issue that's all about it. Yeah.
All right.
Do I have a photo shoot?
No.
Oh, I thought I was going to
Get that canary yellow zoot suit ready, son.
I thought they were going to do a photo shoot.
And we'll find out. Maybe we'll do one for you. Okay, we got to go. Guardians baseball is next. I'm out there at Alan Cox Show on your various social media. You can watch the program if you like at alancoxshow.com. It's available for you in the iHeartRadio app or wherever your shows show up. If you want to leave messages, you can do them on the app there, quick ones, or voicemails at the After Hours line, which is 216-986-8903. And that's it. We'll talk to you again tomorrow around 2 o'clock. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. See you in hell.
And now I must leave you as the Brady Bunch is on, and I find 4 of those children incredibly arousing. Get out of here.
Be careful of what you say. Be careful in every way. Be careful of what you do. Big Brother is watching you. Be circumspect and discreet. Stay light on your mental feet. One slip and you know you're through. Big Brother is watching you.